personal electronic devices during the school day. That includes smartphones, headphones, tablets, and smart watches. Right now, sunshine. We're up to 49 degrees in Midtown, warming up to a high of 76 degrees later this afternoon. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. FBI agents in Atlanta confirm more immigration arrests in metro Atlanta as part of a nationwide crackdown. 21 people are taken into custody. Special agents say they also recovered a handgun. The feds are not releasing information yet about the people detained in this operation. A mom is sharing the frightening details of a man's attempt to kidnap her son at a Walmart in Ackworth.
Caroline Miller says it all happened so fast. 56-year-old Mahindra Patel approaches, asks a distracting question, and then tries to rip her 2-year-old son right from her arms.
I'm like, no, what are you doing? What are you doing? He pulled him, I pulled him back. We're tug-of-warring.
She tells Channel 2 Action News he gave up and disappeared, but she spotted him moments later.
We saw him checking out, but before we could really do anything, he was gone.
His credit card purchase gave police his information. Surveillance cameras also got his tag number. Patel now jailed on numerous charges. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Georgia Hyundai and Kia plants stand to gain as President Trump announces construction of a new multi-billion-dollar steel plant in Louisiana.
President Trump announced South Korean automaker Hyundai will invest $5.8 billion in a U.S. facility in Louisiana, all to make steel for its car plants in Georgia and Alabama. The president says it shows that his tariffs are working to expand business here in the U.S.
Michelle Franzen reports the president says Hyundai will not have to pay tariffs as it makes steel and cars here in the U.S. Well, the UN warns disruptions in USAID funds could have dire impacts on the fight against HIV and AIDS.
The United Nations AIDS Agency saying there could be 2,000 new HIV infections a day across the world and a tenfold increase in related deaths if funding from the U.S. is not reinstated or replaced.
Inez de la Quatara reports cuts to USAID have led to the closure of many HIV clinics across Africa and layoffs of thousands of health workers. Bird flu found in a sheep for the very first time. The United Kingdom's chief veterinary officer says the sheep was found on a farm in England where bird flu has been confirmed in the bird population. The sheep was put down. Officials say there is a very low risk to food safety or to the public in general. And the Department of Justice and Georgia Tech look to be headed toward mediation. It's all over allegations of cybersecurity fraud.
A DOJ lawsuit alleges that Georgia Tech failed to satisfy cybersecurity requirements needed to comply with Department of Defense contracts. Now a federal district court says the case is suitable for mediation. The DOJ had said Georgia Tech's cybersecurity plan was insufficient and alleged the defendant sent in a false assessment score. 2 whistleblowers had originally filed suit in 2022. The government filed its complaint last August. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti for 95.5 WSB.
It's 9:04. Mark Aram Show begins in less than 2 minutes. Right now, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. First up, Triple Team Traffic with Smilin' Mark McKay.
Got to get the attention of our friends. Cheryl, out of Douglasville this morning, you will encounter delays into Lithia Springs unless you take Highway 78 Veterans Memorial Highway. Up ahead on I-22, left lanes knocked out with a crash on I-20 eastbound at Riverside Parkway, exit 46. Delays stretching back almost to the way station. Travel advisory, construction up and running and will be throughout the day. Rolling in the Canton, only a left lane getting by 575 southbound Riverstone Parkway, exit 20. Watching those trip times at I-285, Ashley Frasca.
Still taking about 30 minutes on the inner loop in Cobb County, 285 north and east to go between South Cobb Drive and Riverside Parkway as you enter into Sandy Springs. Slow the entire way. Not as bad on the east side perimeter. Some brake lights, though. 285 north beginning before Memorial Drive, headed past La Vista. Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, high 76, lows tonight in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 74. Thursday, sunshine, morning lows in the mid-40s, daytime highs in the mid-70s.
Right now, mostly sunny, 50 degrees in Marietta. You're at 49 in Woodstock, 50 degrees in Decatur. More news at 9:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome, friends, to yet another extremely Newsday Tuesday. Mark Aram and crew with you till noon. Big news in that Venezuelan deportation court case. Jake Rosen from CBS News going to join us live in D.C. on that in 30 minutes. We have got a huge story that popped. I'm sure you're well aware. The Signal app controversy involving some members of President Trump's cabinet and a reporter from Politico. Let's hear from the reporter on how this all unfolded.
I get a message request to connect with Mike Waltz, who's the national security advisor, or someone who's purporting to be Mike Waltz. Not an unusual thing in Washington. I'm a journalist. I've met him in the past. So I accept it.
That's Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg. A really big story. We're going to go to the White House to get the latest from Karen Travers in just a minute. But starting off the show today on this Tuesday, Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff joining us. Senator, good morning. As always, thanks for your time.
Mark, good morning.
Let's start with a project of yours that I know has been very important to you, the United States Postal Service. We got word yesterday that the Postmaster General, Louis DeJoy, has resigned after nearly 5 years in the position. Your reaction to that resignation?
Finally.
Okay.
Finally. I mean, I've got, nothing against Mr. DeJoy personally, but I think he obviously was not up to the task. And Georgians have suffered as a result from poor service now for over a year. There's been some improvement, in particular, since I started putting serious pressure on him, but I think it's clear we need new leadership at the USPS.
Interesting. Any idea who you might choose or see chosen to lead the very important Postal Service moving forward? Has that been floated out yet in any discussions?
I've not seen any names yet. I did just write to the Board of Governors at USPS to encourage them to find someone highly competent. I think one of the challenges that we faced with Mr. DeJoy, frankly, was that he was a major political donor to President Trump, but didn't necessarily have a background to actually do the job. So it needs to be merit-based, not political.
Speaking of backgrounds to do the job, we have just learned that President Trump has decided to pick Susan Monarez to head the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, here in Atlanta. Obviously, a huge impact in the Atlanta economy. Your thoughts on the President Trump's pick and the layoffs we've seen, the DOJ layoffs we've seen at the CDC?
I don't have a strong view yet on her candidacy to lead it on a permanent basis. I'll take a look at her record. What I want to say more broadly is this. I am all for government efficiency. But when you start randomly firing tens of thousands of people across the government, regardless of their performance and the role they fill, and then you realize you have to rehire them because you accidentally fired the people who fight Ebola at the CDC, and you accidentally fired the people who protect our nuclear weapons stockpile, and you accidentally fired the people who run the Veterans Crisis Hotline. That's not efficiency. That's incompetence. And if they're going to continue with this effort, they need to get much better at it.
Can you speak to, obviously, I'm sure you've heard from your constituents that were at the CDC and lost their job. What's been the reaction inside the CDC? And do we know how many people lost their jobs and what impact that might have on the agency moving forward?
Well, there's been chaos at the CDC, and they initially announced firing more than 1,000 people in a single day. Again, regardless of their performance and regardless of the role they fill. You would never do that in a private enterprise. If you were going to make personnel cuts at a private company, you would do it strategically, looking at who's performing well, who's not performing well, who's essential, who's non-essential. Senator Warnock and I then wrote to the administration saying, look, you guys can't just indiscriminately fire over 1,000 people without thinking about the impact. And they started scrambling to rehire some of them. So it's very chaotic. It's not being competently done. And the CDC, of course, it's a major employer in Georgia, but it's also crucial to protecting the nation from deadly disease outbreaks, to children's health, to rural health. This is a really important agency.
Senator Jon Ossoff joining us here on the Mark Arum Show. DOJ also setting their sights on the VA. I know that is also an agency that is very near and dear to your heart. Your thoughts on that, and do you have any contact with former Representative Doug Collins in that, and have you been able to give him any input or suggestions on what should happen moving forward?
They floated a plan to fire 80,000 people who work at the VA. They've already fired a huge number, and again, indiscriminately. This is what drives me nuts about this. It's not that government programs are sacred. They have to work. It's that when you fire people randomly, you don't get good results. They fired people who work at the Veterans Crisis Hotline. They fired people who are really important for the provision of medical care. to veterans. And, the VFW have come out very strongly opposing the way this is being managed. It's just not being done competently. It's causing chaos at the VA, and it's leading to a lot of concern that medical appointments are going to be even harder to book timely, that veterans who need urgent psychological support through the crisis hotline aren't getting the care they need. And these veterans have earned these benefits. It's not like a favor that the government does to them. It's a contract. The government owes them this service for the sacrifices they made defending the nation.
Senator, the big story yesterday was the breaking news that via the Signal app, administration officials shared war plans against the Houthis, and included in that text chain a reporter for The Atlantic. Obviously, this is a pretty big story. You're on the Select Committee on Intelligence. Your initial reaction to the first reporting we're getting on this?
It is obviously amateurish and reckless and dangerous for senior government officials discussing imminent military action to do it using insecure techniques and to accidentally add a national political reporter. It's inexcusable. And I want folks to remember that, you're about to have Navy pilots launch off of carriers to conduct airstrike, and you're sharing information, according to this reporter, about targeting and timing before the strikes begin. You're putting those pilots, those flight crews' lives potentially at risk.
In your position as a senator, I would imagine you get to see classified information at various points in your career. What is it like? I'm assuming they don't text it to you. What's the protocol, and how do folks on Capitol Hill that have the clearance, how they usually get shared this secret stuff?
You're supposed to use secure and classified devices and work on these things in secure classified spaces. It's called a secure compartmented information facility, or a SCIF, and its purpose is to allow the discussion and the consumption of classified information. And, anybody who's worked in the intelligence community, anybody who's been in the military understands the importance of operational security, because it puts lives at risk when you discuss these things in a way that risks the inadvertent dissemination of the information. And again, the issue here is it's not just that they were using an unclassified app on an unclassified device to discuss this kinds of sensitive national security information. They literally added a reporter accidentally to the chain. So it was a breach. It was a leak. It's inexcusable.
Senator Jon Ossoff, as always, appreciate your time, my friend. You're welcome back any other time.
I appreciate you, Mark. Take care.
All right, again, that is the big story this morning, that Signal app controversy. We continue our team coverage now. Joining us from the White House, ABC News White House correspondent, Karen Travers. Karen, good morning. Obviously, this has been a big story over the last 12, 16 hours. What are we hearing from the White House, and what are we hearing from the journalist Jeffrey Goldberg about this Signal app controversy?
Well, the White House confirms the authenticity of this thread and says that they're reviewing how an inadvertent number was added to the chain. But there's still a lot of questions about practices at the White House of, how prevalent this type of communication is. Do they do other messaging on Signal? And, I think the big thing still is, how did somebody like Jeffrey Goldberg get added to this? He says that he was really surprised by this. He thought it was a spoof, that someone was running a hoax, and that his reaction when he got added in to this chat called the Houthi PC Small Group, PC meaning Principals Committee of the Senior National Security Team, he said his reaction was, I think I've discovered a massive security breach in the U.S. national security system.
Do we know who added him to the chat? Was it Pete Hegseth? Was it Waltz? Do we know who initiated that?
He says he received a connection request from what appeared to be the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz. He accepted it and then was added to the group chat.
Yesterday, we heard from the Defense Secretary. I would say denial of it going on, but at the very least, he said there were no war plans shared on that. Does Goldberg have proof that there were actually war plans shared on the Signal chat group?
He says he does. I mean, Goldberg last night, after Hegseth said nobody was texting war plans, Goldberg said he can say it wasn't a war plan, but it was a minute-by-minute accounting of what was about to happen. And in fact, in that part of his piece in The Atlantic, he says he wasn't going to publish those details because of the potential national security risk that, what was given to him at that time in the hours before the strikes in Yemen on the Houthi targets that could have, he said, they would have put in jeopardy and put at risk military and intelligence personnel in the region. So he is saying he has the receipts to prove it.
Yeah, indeed. White House correspondent Karen Travers joining us on the Mark Arum show. Yesterday, President Trump was asked about it, said he didn't know anything about the story. Is there going to be fallout today? Is there going to be a sacrificial lamb, or is the Trump administration going to hope that the ever-changing news cycle just gets done with this story and spits it out?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of, fiery responses from Capitol Hill, no surprise. Republicans even are saying that there should be an investigation into this, but Democrats are really jumping on this and questioning why they were doing this on this system, questioning the national security risk here and the potential consequences. And also asking what we had said before, how prevalent this practice is. Were they using personal cell phones? What would have happened if somebody lost a phone or had been hacked in this during this time of this chat? So a lot of questions. We don't have a White House briefing today. We've asked all these questions, but then, hopefully we see the president at some point this afternoon and these questions can be put to him.
Final question for you, Karen. You've been covering the White House for a long time. Traditionally, how would this go down? This is something that goes goes on in the Situation Room, or there's a skiff. How normally would this Houthi attack plan be laid out?
Yeah, you would not be doing it over an app like this that I have on my phone that, many people across the country could have on their own phones, because it doesn't have the ability to, have secure data like that, again, the war plans concepts, but even just the potential for those types of national security officials to have something like this, the conversations that they could open themselves up to for hacking or anything like that is so concerning right now. Normally, these types of conversations would take place in a secure facility with all the principals gathered around. But again, I think to your question earlier, one of the things that the White House will be pushed on is just what else these White House officials are communicating on this app, whether it's just the Houthi strikes, but also more broadly, what else are they communicating on Signal, and what are the rules of the administration on this?
Yeah, it could be a really big story. Karen Travers, as always, appreciate your time.
Have a great day.
In the last couple of minutes, we've heard from Garrett Hakey. He is a White House correspondent for NBC, quoting his X post or Twitter post. In a brief interview, POTUS tells me he still has confidence in Mike Waltz after the Signal story yesterday. Quote, Mike Waltz has learned a lesson and he's a good man. So apparently, at least in the halls of power in the West Wing, it seems like this is Mike Waltz's burden to bear, because he invited that journalist Jeffrey Goldberg into the text chat. We're going to hear we heard yesterday from Pete Hegseth about this situation. I'm going to play that audio when we come back, and what I think about this whole Signal story. But time to check your Tuesday morning drive. Plenty of delays on 285, Andrew Seco.
That there are, looking a little tough as you're leaving the southwest side. Northbound on the inner loop, having you slow from Bolton Road all the way up towards I-75. That's exit 20. We do have that travel advisory heading on I-20 eastbound out of Lithia Springs. Only a right lane open, getting past Riverside Parkway, exit 46. You want to hop on Highway 78. And a little bit of stoppage downtown on and off the break, 75-85 north from Langford Parkway up to I-20. This report sponsored by Zenchi Handcrafted Sushi. Craving something fresh and flavorful? Discover Zenchi Handcrafted Sushi. High quality, affordable, and made fresh daily. Find Zenchi Sushi today at your local Publix markets right by the seafood counter. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
It's the only way to do any kind of reform of the federal government.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
I don't remember it.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
Who are you speaking for?
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So We ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on Portfolio X-ray, or click on Full Retirement Plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
When it comes to your home, quality is crucial. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus. The Plus means siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. Quality comes first. We have the most experienced exterior craftsmen in the industry.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? With Xfinity, you can. Hey, it's Mark Arum here. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile has Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile together. Now through April 17th, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $30 a month for 1 year with no annual contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Plus, ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment taxes, fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus 1 unlimited mobile welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus 1 unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
I alerted his national security advisor shortly after 9 a.m. And then alerted Pete Hegseth Tulsi Gabbard and a number of other officials, including Stephen Miller in the White House.
That's Jeffrey Goldberg from The Atlantic, inadvertently added to that text thread on Signal, the Signal app. I had heard of it. I do not have it. Apparently, it's widely used in the D.C. area. Eric Erickson tweeted out that he often communicates with his D.C. pals with that Signal app. I don't know much about it. But I do know this could develop into a very interesting story. Again, President Trump telling a White House correspondent this morning that he has full confidence in Waltz, the national security advisor, who might have to fall on the sword at some point about this. Now, Pete Hegseth was asked about this yesterday on the tarmac. Let's listen in what he told reporters about this Signal app controversy.
Those details classified.
You're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia, or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is a guy that peddles in garbage. This is what he does. I would love to comment on the Houthi campaign because of the skill and courage of our troops. I've monitored it very closely from the beginning, and you see, we've been managing 4 years of deferred maintenance under the Trump administration. Our troops, our sailors were getting shot at as targets. Our ships couldn't sail through. And when they did shoot back, it was purely defensively or at shacks in Yemen. President Trump said, no more. We will reestablish deterrence, we will open freedom of navigation, and we will ultimately decimate the Houthis, which is exactly what we're doing as we speak from the beginning, overwhelmingly.
Why were those details shared on Signal, and how did you learn that a journalist was privy to the targets, the types of weapons used?
I've heard I was characterized. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
That's it. All right, Pete Hegseth yesterday. There's a lot to unpack on this. There are still questions that need to be answered. But I think the main one, not just, listen, how many times have you texted the wrong person? I've done that too many times, quite embarrassing sometimes. It's the fact that this was going on via Signal. If there were war plans or classified information, that's usually not the protocol on how it should be done, how that information should be shared. So I think that's the bigger question is this what they've been doing and will continue to do, to share this data on the Signal app instead of in the Situation Room? All right, news, weather, and traffic in 2 minutes. When we come back, a big day yesterday in the courtroom regarding the Venezuelan deportation case. Jake Rosen, reporter from CBS, joins us live next on The Mark Arum Show.
Did you know that 30% of all heart attacks, the very first symptom is sudden death? Virtual Imaging will give you a free heart scan with few minimum requirements. Call now at 770-678-SCAN or visit virtualimagingatl.com.
Don't ignore any cracked bricks or concrete, floor or wall gaps, or bowed walls. You could be ignoring underlying foundation problems, and that will hurt the value of your home. Foundation problems? Visit aquaguard.net today and book your free inspection.
AquaGuard. Why does it matter that D. Geller & Son is Atlanta's first diamond wholesaler? Because we get first dibs. When diamonds come to Atlanta, they come to D. Geller & Son first. A bunch of diamonds that look the same on paper, but there's about 1 in every 10 that you can see from across the room. So we keep the good one, we pack the rest back up, and they go somewhere else. Usually a big box store that's not quite as picky. That means the same color, same clarity, and same price gets you more brilliance, more sparkle, more bang for your diamond buck at D. Geller & Son. In Atlanta, Kennesaw, and Sandy Springs, online at dgeller.com.
Raise your hand if you've already turned on the heat because of the dropping temperatures. I'm raising my hand. It's Mark Arum here. I held out as long as I could, cranked up my furnace from Reliable Heating and Air. Speaking of which, did you know you can get any size furnace from Reliable Heating and Air, just $59.99 a month, and ask about their clean air upgrades? Get your free consultation by visiting ReliableAir.com. Over 240,000 homeowners, including me, have taken advantage of their Comfort as a Service program and saved thousands on heating and cooling systems, water heaters, generators, and more. Low monthly payments and all future repairs, maintenance, even filters, no additional charge for life. Plus, next day installation guarantee, or they pay you 5 $100. Amazing promo right now. Any size furnished, just $59.99 a month, and ask about their clean air upgrades. Just go to reliableair.com and book your free consultation today.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's news and talk.
It's 9:30. Good morning to you. I'm Cheryl Castro. Our top story, FBI Atlanta confirms another round of immigration arrests in metro Atlanta.
This latest enforcement effort includes 21 arrests, according to a statement from the FBI. Special agents also recovered one handgun in the local operation. It's part of a nationwide crackdown over the last 2 months focused on deporting people with criminal backgrounds who were in the country illegally. We've reached out to Homeland Security officials for more information on the ages and criminal histories of those arrested. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
A bill to modernize Georgia's 911 systems is waiting for Governor Kemp's signature. It shifts the state's emergency call centers to the next-gen 911 system.
Georgia is moving forward with focusing on the 911 infrastructure to ensure some seamless communications, interoperable communications, and the overall safety of the public.
Cobb County Emergency Management Director Melissa Alterio says they are ahead of the curve and only a few months away from completing the transition. It would allow those in an emergency to communicate with operators through video, photos, and texts. The father of the accused Appalachia High School shooter wants his own trial moved out of Barrow County.
Colin Gray is accused of providing the weapon that his teenage son Colt used to kill 4 people and injure 11 more during a rampage at Appalachia High School last fall. He is charged with second-degree murder and multiple other charges and is awaiting trial. But his lawyers are asking to have those proceedings moved out of Barrow County, citing extensive media coverage, the emotional response from the immediate public to the shooting, and the likelihood of jury members having ties to those affected. A judge has yet to consider their motion, and no date for trial has been set. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
It's 9:32. The nation's infrastructure report card is out, and it highlights a need for major improvements. The report looks at 18 different segments of infrastructure.
The best performers, we're talking about our ports and railways, but when it comes to roads, dams, and the aviation system, they were among the worst performers. And this comes as aviation safety will be the focus of a key hearing on Capitol Hill this week.
Transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve reports the nation's aviation system earns a D+. This follows January's deadly midair collision in Washington. Well, the Fox Theater is accepting applications for its All Access Pass program. It offers high school students interested in working in the performing arts an immersive educational experience. The curriculum provides up-close access to careers in the performing arts industry. Students accepted will get hands-on experiences, plus mentorship and career exploration opportunities to inspire the next generation of arts professionals. And a Georgia college remembers the life of a famed author on what would have been her 100th birthday.
Flannery O'Connor wrote short stories and a couple of novels. Some, like Wise Blood, were even turned into movies. She even created cartoons for the Georgia College and State University newspaper back when it was a women's college. Her home, Andalusia Farm, is hosting some of the birthday events.
She wrote most of her most iconic work at Andalusia Farm, which is owned and operated by Georgia College.
GCSU's Amanda Respis says they're working on opening another O'Connor property to the public. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
We check traffic and weather at 9:33. Andrew Seco live in the WSB 24-hour news center.
And travel advisory still active. I-20 eastbound getting past Riverside Parkway. Only a right lane open. Delays back a couple of miles. You want to use Highway 78 as a quick workaround through here, and a little bit of trouble through Cobb County. All lanes being held to move. This stall to the shoulder, 75 north at the South Loop exit 263. Bit of a brake light battle already. Things will be clearing pretty quickly. No need for a specific alternate right now. Just playing for some extra commute time as you're heading closer towards Kennesaw. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Epward. Sunshine today, high 76. Lows tonight in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 74. Thursday, sunny skies, morning low 46, afternoon high 75.
Sunshine and 53 degrees right now across Suwannee as well as Smyrna and Lawrenceville. More news at 10 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
With baseball season just around the corner, I got a question for you, fellas. You're heading to the ballpark this summer, this spring. Watch your favorite team. Are you going to disappear when they sing the national anthem because you don't want to take off your hat and show your hair situation to 40,000 of your closest friends and neighbors? Hey, it's Mark Aaron back from my friends at Advanced Hair. Don't put yourself in that awkward situation when the national anthem comes on and you got to take your hat off and show your receding hairline, your bald spot. Get treated right now with my friends at Advanced Hair. quick, simple, one-day treatment, and your real hair begins to regrow the very next day, even guaranteed to grow for life. If you want to get your hair back, now's the time. Advanced Hair is the place. Takes just one visit, but first you need a free consultation. Schedule now, 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com. And if you move forward, you'll get $250 off plus 250 free grafts. One-day treatment, life-changing results, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow. Advancedhair.com.
At Ameris Bank, we're invested in the success of your business. Our local bankers are ready to help you improve your cash flow, optimize your operating accounts, and access financing when you need it. From treasury services and digital banking to loans and lines of credit, we offer tailored solutions to help your business thrive. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. Visit amerisbank.com/withyourbusiness or walk into one of our branches today to get started. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval.
For only a few more days, you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean plus a free hallway from Zero Res for only $109 when you mention me, Chris Chandler. This offer ends soon, so schedule your appointment now before it's too late. Schedule online at ZeroResAtlanta.com.
I suspect that we may wind up questioning some of these judges themselves to have them defend their actions. And then we'll see about limiting the scope of federal injunctions.
Speaker Mike Johnson yesterday commenting on the Venezuela deportation case. Joining us live covering everything regarding the courts is our buddy Jake Rosen from CBS. Jake, good morning, brother. How are you?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
So we were monitoring yesterday. 3-judge panel was set to hear the appeal from the Trump administration about that now infamous Venezuelan deportation plane. What did we learn, if anything, from that 3-judge panel yesterday?
So they have not ruled yet, but I think the top lines were that there were concerns by both there were 3 justices. There was one judge that did not really speak a bunch, and then there was an Obama-appointed judge and a Trump-appointed judge, both of which raised concerns that these people who were deported, these alleged Tren de Aragua gang members, did not receive any kind of confirmation in a court of law or some kind of administrative hearing to check and double check and triple check to make sure that these people were actually part of Tren de Aragua and fit Donald Trump's description and invocation of the Alien Enemies Act, which is really at the heart of all this, right? If the judge's order were to be unblocked going forward by this circuit court, what happens to the people who the government is intending to deport next under this? Are they going to receive some kind of hearing or cross-checking? If the person says, as has been reported by CBS News, somebody had a Real Madrid soccer tattoo, and apparently the government said that fit as a Tren de Aragua tattoo, which would be incorrect, and the person had no criminal record, how do you adjudicate these claims before just being put on a plane and put to probably, one of the most serious, if not consequential prisons in the world? So that was really at the heart of this, and we'll see what else comes out of it today into tomorrow.
All right, so they will continue today. So typically speaking, so the 3-judge panel, one was kind of silent, the other 2 were asking questions. Generally, you can read the tea leaves, right, from the type of questions that are being asked. Any indication is it too early to say what this panel might decide?
Well, the judges indicated at the end of the hearing yesterday that they really felt the need to be expedient about this. They said they understood kind of the world that we're living in, where the judge was basically put on the spot last weekend to make a decision in real time, knowing what he knew, and that they were having trouble coming to terms with this case even after having it and sitting on it and watching all the developments for over a week. Basically, that is very complicated. We really haven't seen anything like this since the Guantanamo Bay detention hearings, right, where people were suing to free themselves from there. I think the biggest concern, if I were the ACLU and the people who are suing on these plaintiffs' behalf, is that, these defendants are not in Washington, D.C., and in court you have to sue where, sometimes where people are, sometimes where people aren't. If this circuit court decides in a way that this case was incorrectly filed in Washington and Judge Boasberg should have never even heard the case because the defendants are now in Texas, then that makes all of this moot, right? And they basically would start at square one to try to block future deportations. We'll see. It's certainly headed to the Supreme Court. Both the ACLU and Attorney General Pam Bondi have both said that they expect this to get there sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I would imagine speed is of the utmost importance right now to try to get some finality on this. We know that the Trump administration have been using the 1798 Alien Act, but I also saw a headline yesterday that there was another obscure law that they were trying to use to justify these deportations. Do you know anything about that?
I know that these deportations have continued in a number of ways. This might be what you're talking about. It might not be. But, in one way, they sent 3 alleged Tren de Aragua gang members to Chile because Chile agreed to hold them. And apparently these people had some kind of business there where the Chilean government could take them in. This has been one way for the Trump administration to go around the block that is currently on them. But they can deport, as has really been the case all along in this case, as the judge in the circuit court and the judge in district court here in Washington, D.C., both of them have made clear there's nothing stopping the Trump administration at all from continuing to deport these people. The ACLU, however, argues that the Alien Enemies Act basically gives them a way to short circuit the judicial system. As we know, just across the board in the U.S., there's a shortage of immigration judges, there's a shortage of immigration resources to kind of process these cases as expediently as they're coming in, especially under the Trump administration, which is really wanting to hit the gas.
I just found that the headline that I was referring to, Jake, for clarity purposes. The Trump administration invoked, this is from CBS News, by the way, invoked a state secrets privilege yesterday and refused to give a federal judge any additional information about the deportation of the Venezuelan migrants. So state secrets privilege was something I hadn't heard yet in this case that they used yesterday to push back on Judge Boasberg.
Yeah, and this has been what the government has been weighing over his head the entire time to try to basically block him out of this and basically say, you're not actually entitled to any of these details about these flights that he ordered to be turned around. That's really been at the crux of the heated back and forth in this case, which is why the government did not listen when he ordered them directly to turn the 2 planes holding these alleged gang members around, over 250 people between the 2 flights. They didn't do that. Once you get in the hands of El Salvador and, prison guards, it's very hard to turn the plane around, right? When the people are offloaded to a supermax. The government is saying, yes, we have these operations are state secrets. They are part of ongoing military and foreign affairs actions by the administration, and that the judge is not entitled to any of those details. So they invoked that last night across 3 different cabinet members, including Attorney General Bondi. And then today at some point, the government has to explain in a court filing why they did not turn those planes around formally on the record, given their legal arguments, not just what they say in court or what someone says on TV.
All right, final question for you, Jake. The 3-judge panel is set to meet again when today, and you said tomorrow as well?
So the hearing has wrapped, but they are certainly writing, and they acknowledge that this probably has to get wrapped up at some point this week. So I would assume that we would get an opinion from them sooner, before the end of the week, as opposed to sometimes these cases, they can sit on these cases for a couple of weeks or 2 before they turn around an opinion. But I think everyone, including me, as someone who's had to cover this for the last couple of weeks, wants to see some kind of resolution.
Gotcha. Unrelated to the court system, and I'm not asking you to weigh in on this, but just out of curiosity, I didn't know much about the Signal app. I think a lot of our listeners never really heard about it, but apparently it's pretty big in D.C. Do you have the Signal app, and do you ever use it?
Yeah. I mean, most reporters do. I mean, I use it to talk to coworkers. I've used it to talk to sources. It's an encrypted messaging app that, especially if someone has an iPhone and the other person doesn't, sometimes makes it easier to talk. And it, at least before this incident, kind of gave you protection against your phone being tracked and traced.
Interesting. Okay.
We will see what happens because there is some kind of encryption that you usually do not get with the iPhone. But we will see as the Trump administration probably reevaluates how all of their employees use that app. We'll see what comes out of that and whether they actually go after anyone in the administration in terms of either consequences, right, or punishment for leaking at least something to a reporter, right, and not cross-checking that he was actually in the group chat, which I think we can all relate to. Is usually if you add someone, you like to verify who that is.
Gotcha. So I had heard of Signal, but I didn't know much about it. So the way I'm hearing you explain it, Jake, it's kind of like Snapchat for grown-ups, right? This is
It's the equivalent of WhatsApp, but a little bit more organized. So you can be in long threads, you can be in group chats. There are a number I'm a part of, but it's kind of a mix between WhatsApp and the iMessage app. So yeah.
All right, excellent. Jake Rosen, CBS News. Jake, great stuff as always, buddy. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark.
There you go. Vinny, I guess I'm showing my age here, being a boomer. But I had heard of Signal. Is that something that the Gen Zers are on?
I don't know about that one.
You don't have that one?
No, I don't have that
Snapchat?
one. I still got Snap.
What was the other one he said? WhatsApp?
Yeah, WhatsApp. Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Deborah, before this story, well, first of all, let me ask Deborah Green, do you have Signal on your phone?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I use Signal. Yeah, I use Signal.
All right.
It's probably closest to WhatsApp, but it's not Meta, so it's not Facebook or Instagram. And I use it to kind of like group chats instead of having to send massive text messages. It's an easier way to send group pictures and videos and everything.
I don't even know what WhatsApp is. I've heard of WhatsApp, but I have no idea. Is that something for dating, Vinny? What are you using WhatsApp for?
No, that's just, I don't know.
Messaging.
Secretive, messaging.
Oh, secretive. Okay.
Yeah, like that's why you compared it to that.
All right, I'm just trying to relate to the average listener right now. So if there's a guy driving around right now, 40-year-old dude, married, 2 kids, and his wife has WhatsApp, should he be concerned?
No.
Yes.
Vinny says
No.
yes. Deborah says no. Really? What about Snapchat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That too, yeah.
Be worried about that?
Yeah,
All
because the messages can hide after 24 hours.
See, that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. What about Signal, Deborah? Is that...
No.
No, you're good with that?
No, it's mostly used in work circles.
All right. Why aren't we using that?
I do use it. You're not on it.
No, well, you never even told me about it.
We got to get hip.
We do have to get hip, Deborah.
You're the hip one, Vince.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Should I even download it? I bet the downloads for Signal are off the chain today in the Apple Store.
Off the chain.
Well, I'm trying to relate to Vinny. Yeah, right? I mean, it's... I'm assuming... Well, Deborah's in the know. Vinny didn't know about this. I knew of it. But if Ericsson's on it, so maybe... if Eric's using it, maybe it's not a Gen Z kind of thing. All right, interesting. We'll continue to monitor that situation. I do want to update, actually, that WhatsApp... Not WhatsApp. The Signal app. If anything, any laws were broken... by the group that was using this Signal app and allegedly sending alleged warplanes. Again, this is all alleged. Ellie Koenig is the CNN legal analyst about any laws that might have been broken, maybe using this Signal app.
So there is a federal law that people often look at in situations like this, and it's a rare one because it actually does not require intentionality. Most of our criminal laws require some intentional violation of the law. This one actually applies to gross negligence. What it says, it's section 793, if anyone wants to look it up, but it says that it is a crime to remove sensitive information from its proper place of custody grossly negligently. So I think in terms of the question you asked, what else would we need to know? First of all, is this information sensitive enough that it qualifies? It certainly seems the answer there is yes. It seems this information related to a planned military strike. Second of all, was it removed from or kept outside of its proper place of custody? Signal chat, I'm not a super expert on this, but seems to me to be not the place where this information is supposed to be stored. And then the trickiest question is, was it grossly negligent of the players to do this? And I want to be clear, the gross negligence part wouldn't necessarily be the inadvertently inviting Jeffrey Goldberg, the journalist, into this. I mean, that certainly would be one of the aspects of it. But I think the real question about negligence is just maintaining this Signal chat among top U.S. officials. Would that itself be grossly negligent? So there's a lot of facts we still need to know, but that's the law that people usually look at in situations like this.
All right, text coming in fast and furious on the Piccadilly text line. Shelley Winter said a lot of Republicans and Democrats in Georgia use Signal for campaigning. And perhaps some breaking news, Deborah. My mom texted me. She has WhatsApp.
Well, yeah, your mom probably has WhatsApp.
Really?
'Cause that's like Facebook. You message groups and that. So like my mom and my nieces use WhatsApp together.
Oh, okay. All right. My dad doesn't have to worry, though, that my mom's on
No.
WhatsApp. All right, good. Thank you for that, Deborah. I just do regular text message groups. I don't have state secrets. I don't have anything that needs to disappear. I text pictures of my food to Ashley, Smilin, Alex, Sanjay, and Longoria. That's all I do. I don't know. Speaking of nothing, let's check traffic. Better news, I-20, live with the latest. Andrew Seco.
Better news indeed. Long-standing crash gone by the wayside. All lanes back open. I-20 eastbound getting past Riverside Parkway, exit 46. Brake lights thinning out quite nicely. No need for an alternate as you approach 285. This sports sponsored by Callaway Resort and Gardens. Celebrate spring at Callaway Resort and Gardens in Pine Mountain, Georgia. Relax at their 4-diamond lodge and spa or a charming cottage. Experience vibrant blooms and immersive art. Plan your spring getaway at CallawayGardens.com. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
When the news matters to you.
The FAA says the flight crew was reporting possible smoke in the flight deck.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
Beef prices are going up.
Your 24/7 news source.
They had no ties to a gang, but they were killed by them.
When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
Listeners, friends, family, neighbors, heck, even coworkers have asking me about QC Kinetics treatment. Hey, it's Mark Arum. No joke. Coworker the other day asked me about QC Kinetics. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. Well, if you're wondering if you're a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answer yes to any of those questions, I bet you're a great candidate with my friends at QC Kinetics. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Call 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-239-1749, 800-239-1749, or biglou.com.
From mission-critical moments to business as usual, rely on Critical Link from Southern Link, the network that supports L3 Harris LMR and LTE radios and Samsung Galaxy Series smartphones. Critical Link, reliability in action. Call 866-450-LINC for more information on Southern Link products and deals. Or visit Highfly Technologies in Atlanta or NextLink in Duluth. Go to southernlink.com to find a dealer near you.
For only a few more days, you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean plus a free hallway from Zero Res for only $109 when you mention me, Chris Chandler. This offer ends soon, so schedule your appointment now before it's too late. Schedule online at ZeroResAtlanta.com.
Hey, if you've been thinking about selling your home, now is the time with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Now, you can sell your home fast and for more than you expect. Just go to markspain.com to find out what your guaranteed offer will be. That's markspain.com. And you can start packing.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
9:54 on the Mark Arum Show. Happy 60th birthday, actress Sarah Jessica Parker. She, of course, known for playing Carrie Bradshaw on Sex and the City, and also married to Matthew Broderick. Deborah, were you a Sex and the City fan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love
a really
Sex
good
and the
show.
City.
When it first came out, I just moved down here from New York, and it made me miss the city because not so much the show, but just where it was taking place. Quick fact about Matthew Broderick. I feel so, what's the word I'm looking for? I feel vindicated. That's the word. So for years, even back when I was doing my weekend show on here, we talk about movies. We do Movie Monday, and was talking about Forrest Gump, right? Can you think of any other actor that could have played Forrest Gump other than Tom Hanks? And I always said the only other actor I could think of that could come close to that would be Matthew Broderick. I think he could pull that role off. And I just had that, no confirmation. That was just my opinion. Like, he would be, if you couldn't get Hanks, you'd go to Matthew Broderick. And I got one of those Facebook reels from this guy that talks about movies, like things you didn't know about, Forrest Gump or whatever. And in that, he was like, if Tom Hanks didn't get the role, they were prepared to offer it to Matthew Broderick. And I was like, yes. I was like, I was right. I could be a Hollywood casting director. Anyway, happy 60th birthday to Sarah Jessica Parker. All right, this is a great, great local story. And I don't know. I think maybe we can credit President Trump for this and the threat of tariffs. But big car news in the state of Georgia, Deborah.
Maybe the tariffs are working. Hyundai will invest $200 billion in American facilities in Louisiana and right here in Georgia. The plans could hire about 1,500 workers to produce the next generation steel. And Hyundai aims to increase the sale of electric vehicles by 2030 to over 2 million units globally. Hyundai's president and CEO, Jose Munoz, says the best way for Hyundai to navigate tariffs is to increase localization.
Yeah, I mean, again, I can't get inside President Trump's mind. But we have that April 2nd deadline for the reciprocal tariffs, right? But if this truly is just a negotiating ploy and getting companies to bring manufacturing back to the U.S., more power to them. That's huge news to get another. I mean, that's a lot of jobs and a lot of good paying jobs. So some fantastic news. And maybe it's the threat of tariffs that are working to bring jobs back to America. This is a sad story. Brett Gardner, you probably don't know the name, but he was a longtime baseball player, played a bunch of years for the Yankees. His son died. His son is Miller Gardner, the son of Yankee star Brett Gardner. There are new details about his son's death. ABC's Lionel Moyes has the story.
The 14-year-old passed away while on a family vacation in Costa Rica. Authorities there suspect his death was caused by asphyxiation, which is when the body doesn't receive enough oxygen. Officials say that was due to what's being described as food intoxication, though it's unclear what may have made him ill.
That's so weird. And this wasn't like, oh, he's a college kid on spring break and, gets drunk or he was on a family vacation in Costa Rica, 14 years old. I'd never heard of that. Food intoxication, cause of death of asphyxiation. Does that mean choking? I mean, it's just so sad. 14 years old. Can you imagine? On family vacation in Costa Rica, which is a lovely country, by the way. They have monkeys. They have monkeys and sloths. Amazing. So sad news. Rest in peace, Miller Gardner. Thoughts and prayers to former Major League Baseball outfielder Brett Gardner. Horrible story. All right, when we come back, we're updating our top local stories and what the heck is going on between the U.S. and Greenland. We'll investigate next on The Mark Arum Show.
Nothing warms your home like natural light. It's time to brighten yours. Add more daylight and bigger views with Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass Windows. Hi, it's Jonathan and Ted from North Georgia Replacement Windows. Our windows come with narrow frames giving you more light. Experience the Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass difference at your home or in our new Alpharetta showroom. Window and door shopping made simple. 0% interest available.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
Storm season officially here, friends, and it wreaks havoc on your house and your roof. It's Mark Arum here. If you truly want peace of mind about your roof, and for many years to come, ask Dr. Roof about their lifetime warranty. Dr. Roof's warranty means they have your roof covered for the lifetime of your roof, and if anything comes up, Dr. Roof will take care of it. You never have to worry about a thing. They stand behind it since they've been in business for over 35 years. Now that is peace of mind. All the info online at drroof.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. solutions. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now. 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Dr. Roof. The feds confirming another immigration roundup here in metro Atlanta.
FBI Atlanta says a total of 21 arrests were made during what it calls enhanced immigration enforcement across metro Atlanta. Similar actions over the last 2 months have led to protests. The FBI says it will continue to provide resources to assist federal partners in the efforts. One handgun was recovered in the latest operation. We're waiting for more information from Homeland Security officials on the ages and backgrounds of those arrested. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
All right, the pollen count is high. It's going to be high again today. Mainly trees that are getting you: pine, oak, birch, hackberry, and sweet gum. Otherwise, sunny, mild, high 76, but the winds will be gusting up to 30 miles an hour, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. And the National Weather Service is issuing a fire danger warning for central and North Georgia. It's in effect through 8 o'clock tonight. Outdoor burning strongly discouraged. So far this year, Georgia has had more than 1,600 fires. That's a 20% increase over the 5-year average during the same nearly 3-month period. The number of acres burned this year so far, nearly 14,000 here in Georgia. New this morning, Senator Jon Ossoff reacting to Postmaster General Louis DeJoy's resignation.
I think he obviously was not up to the task, and Georgians have suffered as a result from poor service now for over a year.
And Ossoff has been critical of the agency and DeJoy after Georgia experienced serious meal delays in 2024. Georgia's 911 system about to get a big upgrade after lawmakers send a bill to Governor Kemp.
Each jurisdiction would have to upgrade their software to what's being called Next Gen 911. In Cobb County, Emergency Communications Director Melissa Alterio says they're almost finished with their transition, and she's excited that the state is moving in this direction.
It's a long time coming.
She says the system will benefit residents and first responders.
The calls will connect to the system faster, so calls will get answered faster.
The state's amended budget includes more than $5 million to help roll out the system. In Cobb County, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
There's a new canine officer in Johns Creek. Finn is a 2.5-year-old Hungarian pointer from Holland. Finn's specialties are drug detection and tracking. He's joining the force now. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow's down 73 at 42,509, so the Dow's down slightly. NASDAQ is in positive territory, and the S&P is in the red. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca has a look at your roads.
Good morning, Sabrina. Still some volume downtown. You're on and off the brake pedal on the connector 7585 northbound from 166 Langford Parkway past Freedom Parkway. Got my eyes on a brand new crash. 3 cars, in fact, on 285 eastbound before Flat Shoals. That blocks a left lane on the outer loop, the southeast perimeter. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, high 76, lows tonight in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 74. Thursday, sunshine, morning lows in the mid-40s, daytime highs in the mid-70s.
As we take a look at WSB Storm Tracker radar, it is clear. We have sunshine and 54 degrees in Alpharetta. Holly Springs has sunny skies and 50 degrees. It's warm in Auburn already, 56 degrees there with sunshine. We will have more news at 10:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Tuesday morning to you. Mark Arum here, you there. It's 10:04, 4 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Arum Show, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. Extended family with us today. Deborah Green, the executive producer of the show. Vinny Bag of Donuts filling in on the other side of the takeout window. Your boy Blue screens them calls. This just popping. Soon, top intel officials will testify amid the war plans group chat fallout. That's coming from Alex Marquardt, chief national security correspondent for CNN. Obviously, a big story we've been covering heavy in the first hour. We'll continue to update that. We've got actor Steve Coogan's going to join us in the 10 o'clock hour, 11 o'clock hour, and Deborah's got some amazing tickets to give away. But I want to circle back on a story we've been covering for, well, really since before the inauguration, President Trump's plans for Greenland. Joining us on the show, White House correspondent John Decker, fresh back from vacation. I'm confused about what we want to do, what we can do with Greenland. What can you tell me?
Yeah, well, it does make sense. There's a U.S. delegation that's traveling to Greenland this week. As you point out, Usha Vance, who is Vice President Vance's wife, is part of that delegation. Also visiting as part of that delegation, the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, and Donald Trump's Energy Secretary. Donald Trump said yesterday, President Trump said yesterday in the cabinet room, and I was there, when he said that those officials have been invited by the government of Greenland. And the Prime Minister of Greenland putting out a statement saying that is not true. They were not invited officially or unofficially to visit Greenland. Of course, you know, anyone's free to travel anywhere, but it wasn't an official invitation that was put out by the government of Greenland. Now, the president has spoken about having Greenland being a part of U.S. territory, and Greenland's pushed back. The Prime Minister of Greenland said that's not going to happen. The citizens of Greenland, which number less than 100,000 people, they recently had an election in which they also indicated they would not like to be a part of the United States of America. So it's very interesting what's happening right here. The president obviously has some territorial ambitions, and Greenland is a part of those territorial ambitions.
So no official state visit for the delegation that is heading from the United States to Greenland. But yeah, as you mentioned, anyone, you know, if you have a passport, you can go visit. I'm sure it's lovely. I understand the importance of Greenland when it comes to geopolitical, military. I mean, it's a very crucial piece of land. But why does the Trump administration think that it's within our sphere of influence to absorb it as a territory?
Well, you'd have to ask President Trump that question. You know, the U.S. actually has a military base on Greenland. And at one point, believe it or not, the United States had 37 military bases on Greenland. For whatever reason, the U.S. has moved off of that number by a significant number over the course of the past few decades. Greenland also not only playing a strategic value in terms of where it sits, but also in addition to that, it has rare earth minerals that the president has spoken about wanting to mine. Now, the U.S. is free to do that as well. In fact, there are commercial contracts that exist right now involving U.S. companies and Greenland. But the president wants to go beyond that, to go beyond just having one base there, to go beyond being able to mine for minerals in Greenland. He wants it as a part of the United States of America as a territory.
You mentioned National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, part of that coalition heading to Greenland. Briefly, do we expect any blowback today on Waltz's initiation of that signal text chain? Is that something you're going to be watching for today?
Oh, I will be watching for that today. Now, the White House putting out a statement saying the president has full confidence in Mike Waltz. That being said, you know, this is something that is unusual, and that's being kind. War plans should not be discussed over a commercial app by the United States, because our adversaries would love to have that information. When you discuss war plans, I think you know this, I know this. Typically, we think of those decision makers having those conversations in the Situation Room at the White House, not online, so to speak. And that's what happened in this particular case ahead of the U.S. attacking Houthi rebels in Yemen.
One of the major stories you'll be following throughout the day at the White House. John Decker, as always, appreciate your time, my friend.
Thanks so much, Mark. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Didn't expect things to move this rapidly. I mentioned before we talked to White House correspondent John Decker there that top intel officials are about to testify amid the war plans group chat fallout. CNN's Alex Marquardt on the amazing timing, I guess, of this committee meeting.
Perfect timing for all the questions that we have over how this story erupted, how Jeffrey Goldberg from The Atlantic was included into this signal group. I mean, this is always a very important hearing for those of us who cover national security. It's a good look at the threats coming from around the world. Wolf, this hearing is going to be hijacked by this scandal, and that's really what it is for the Trump administration. Big questions about to what extent there will be investigations, whether heads will roll. And certainly we are looking at these different committee members to try to get a sense of who is going to be really drilling down on this. Senator Tom Cotton is the chairman of the committee. He's a Republican. We just got his opening statement moments ago that he's about to read in front of this committee. There is no mention of this story, of this Signal chat that included, we believe, classified information, though the White House is now denying it. On the opposite side of the aisle, you have Senator Mark Warner, the top Democrat, who I'm told is going to go in on this right from the start in his opening statement, in his opening question to this panel of top intelligence officials. We already heard from Warner on Twitter raising the specter, the possibility that allies may no longer share as much intelligence with us as a result of this. He wrote, "Make no mistake, our allies are reading this war plan disclosure story too, and it's making it less and less likely that they'll want to share sensitive intel."
All right, so that's Alex Marquardt on CNN just a moment ago. So Tom Cotton is speaking right now. Again, he's the Republican chairman of the Intelligence Committee. This committee meeting was already planned in advance of that Signal story that popped yesterday. Tom Cotton not addressing that in his opening remarks, but he does expect, Alex does expect that his Democratic counterpart is going to bring that up. Let's go to Capitol Hill and listen in live. This is Senator Tom Cotton, Republican chairman of the Intelligence Committee.
As the world became more dangerous in recent years, our intelligence agencies got more politicized, more bureaucratic, and more focused on promulgating opinions rather than gathering facts. As a result of these misplaced priorities, we've been caught off guard and left in the dark too often. I know that all of you agree that the core mission of the intelligence community is to steal our adversaries' secrets and convey them to policymakers to protect the United States. At the same time, it's not the role of intelligence agencies to make policy, to justify presidential action.
All right, we're going to continue to monitor that against Senator Tom Cotton there, kicking off the committee hearing there on intelligence. We do expect that Signal group chat to be brought up by the head, the Democratic head of the committee, and we'll see if he investigates that. I want to continue. I want to circle back to the story. Again, we've been covering it. In case you are just tuning in, yesterday, Jeffrey Goldberg, who is the editor of The Atlantic, revealed that he was inadvertently added to a Signal group chat that included some really high-ranking members. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, he established that group conversation on Signal, which is an encrypted messaging app that reported included several high-ranking administration officials, including Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, and Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent. And we also think that Stephen Miller, Deputy White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, and Steve Witkoff, United States Special Envoy to the Middle East. So, I mean, like, heavy hitters are in this chat group. And the Signal app is apparently widely used in political circles, D.C. circles, and it's an encrypted app which offers some level of protection. But Walls, the National Security Advisor, inadvertently added Jeffrey Goldberg, a journalist, to this group chat. Now, JG, there's a lot of initials on this. Not really sure who he intended to add, but Jeffrey Goldberg got this invitation, and he wasn't surprised about it. We've heard from Jeffrey Goldberg. He says this is, something that he uses in his day-to-day work life as a journalist for The Atlantic. Let's hear from Goldberg.
I get a message request to connect with Mike Waltz, who's the National Security Advisor, or someone who's purporting to be Mike Waltz. Not an unusual thing in Washington. I'm a journalist. I've met him in the past. So I accept it.
All right, so obviously a mistake adding him. Let's go back to Capitol Hill now. Democratic Senator Mark Warner, the vice chairman of the Intelligence Committee. Let's see if he brings that up to the committee hearing.
Putting aside for a moment that classified information should never be discussed over an unclassified system. It's also just mind-boggling to me that all these senior folks were on this line and nobody bothered to even check. Security Hygiene 101. Who are all the names? Who are they? Well, it apparently included a journalist. And no matter how much the Secretary of Defense or others want to disparage him, this journalist had at least the ethics to not report, I think, everything he heard. Question I raise is like, everybody on this committee gets briefed on security protocols. We're told you don't make calls outside of SCIFs of this kind of classified nature. We don't know, and I'm going to ask, obviously. Director Gabbard is the executive in charge of all, keeping our secrets safe. Were these government devices? Were they personal devices? Had the devices been collected to make sure there's no malware? There's plenty of declassified information that shows that our adversaries, China and Russia, are trying to break in to encrypted systems like Signal. I can just say this, if this was the case of a military officer or an intelligence officer and they had this kind of behavior, they would be fired. I think this is one more example of the kind of sloppy, careless, incompetent behavior, particularly towards classified information, that this is not a one-off or a first-time error. Let me take a couple minutes and review some of the other reckless choices that this administration has made regarding our
All right,
national
we'll stop there. All right, so that's Democratic Senator Mike Warner, obviously not happy about that Signal chat group story that broke yesterday. Listen, I think the big problem with this isn't the accidental invitation to Jeffrey Goldberg, right? I've accidentally texted the wrong person. Like that, those mistakes happen. Mike Walls, National Security Advisor, that's a goof. He thought he was inviting someone else. To me, that's not the big story here. The big story is that this conversation was taking place on this Signal app and not the special protocols that they should. They should be on a SCIF or the Situation Room, because Goldberg apparently has the receipts of what the administration intended to do militarily to strike the Houthis in Yemen, which I think was a fantastic military maneuver. I don't question that. I mean, to safeguard U.S. transport in the region, yeah, you got to get rid of the Houthis. You got to be proactive with the Houthis. So I have no issue with that. I think the big story is not like, oh, they put Jeffrey Goldberg on the text. What a dumb thing. No, that they were doing this using improper, unsecured vehicle that is the Signal app. Now, for me, if you look, and I mentioned, I ran through who was on that text chain, right? National Security Advisor Mike Walls, Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent, White House Chief of Staff, Deputy White House Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, and Middle East Envoy Steve Witkoff. I'm actually going to, I don't want to say give a pass, but Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, like he served, but he's straight off of Fox News. He probably doesn't have much experience when it comes to handling classified information, the way he should have been briefed and up to date on it. But I think that might just be, chalk it up to inexperience. But National Security Advisor Mike Walls, who I think is going to be the fall guy on this, he knows better. He also served, and again, he's the current National Security Advisor under President Trump. He won 4 Bronze Stars while serving in the Special Forces during multiple combat tours in Afghanistan, the Middle East, and Africa. He served in the Bush administration as a defense policy director in the Pentagon, and he served as a counterterrorism advisor to Vice President Dick Cheney. He's been there and done that. He knows better. So I think at the end of the day, if anyone knew what they were doing was improper, it would have been Mike Walls. I think he eventually falls on the sword. All right, we're going to continue to monitor the Senate Intelligence hearing. Let's check the ride around town, live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center.
Thanks, Mark. The biggest delays now still through the heart of the city on the downtown connector. It's stop and go on 75-85 northbound, beginning before University Avenue. You may see some flashing lights off to the right before you get to I-20. And construction is slowing the ride out of downtown Atlanta. If you're taking the Buford Spring connector northbound all the way up to Buford Highway, cones, barrels out in the left lane. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour, the evening rush hour, and everything in between.
Slow spots are starting to build up the east side perimeter on 285 north.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic
We've
Center.
had several breakdowns, including one in the express lane.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Anyone on the roads in North Georgia knows that tractor trailers are everywhere. For my friends in the motorcycle community, a distracted big rig could change your life forever. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler. Steel Horse Law specializes in motorcycle accidents involving trucks, and they can protect you from big corporations and their armies of lawyers. Steel Horse Law can help you get back on your feet, medical bills paid, back to work, and your case resolved. Schedule your free accident evaluation at steelhorselaw.com.
See this garage door? I gotta be honest with you. It's ugly. I mean, successful, attractive homeowner like you, it's time to move on. This is not the garage door your parents thought you'd spend the rest of your life with. And that ain't true with everything in life, don't get me wrong. I mean, honey, if you're listening, you can't divorce me just because I'm no longer the handsome stud you married. But your garage door? The neighbors all think you can totally do better. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Let us show you how many sexy new alternatives there are. Just waiting for someone like you. You swipe right on a beautiful new design, we install everything in a lovely ceremony, and you and your new garage door live happily ever after. For better, not worse. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll come make it right. Maybe I should pick up some flowers on the way home.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Why does it matter that D. Geller & Son is Atlanta's first diamond wholesaler? Because we get first dibs. When diamonds come to Atlanta, they come to D. Geller & Son first. A bunch of diamonds that look the same on paper, but there's about 1 in every 10 that you can see from across the room. So we keep the good one, we pack the rest back up, and they go somewhere else. Usually a big box store that's not quite as picky. That means the same color, same clarity, and same price gets you more brilliance, more sparkle, more bang for your diamond buck at D. Geller & Son. In Atlanta, Kennesaw, and Sandy Springs, online at dgeller.com.
Listeners, friends, family, neighbors, heck, even coworkers have asking me about QC Kinetics treatment. Hey, it's Mark Arum. No joke. Coworker the other day asked me about QC Kinetics. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. Well, if you're wondering if you're a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answer yes to any of those questions, I bet you're a great candidate with my friends at QC Kinetics. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Call 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement, and it's a head scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you, because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it. Not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
The Trump White House took responsibility. They said this was genuine, this was a real exchange, and it was a mistake. And that taking responsibility, that was the right thing to do. It's very different from how Hillary Clinton and the Democrats did.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz yesterday responding to the Signal app story. We continue to monitor what's going on in the Intelligence Committee hearing in D.C. We'll join that live again after the news. Quick update on the cost of living story, and this one hits home, Deborah Green. The true cost of pet parenthood for 2025 up 7% year to year, right? That seems about what we're paying for everything is 7% more.
Yeah, they're estimating about 7% for dogs, and if you're a cat owner, even more, up to 10% for cat owners. So the average lifetime for a dog, they're saying for a 10-year-old dog, it's going to be about $35,000 to take care of the dog in its life.
I can confirm that. I've got a 14-year-old. My boy Deuce is 14 now, and I'll pay whatever he needs. Is it cheaper to own a cat?
No, they're saying cats are more expensive.
I would think it's cheaper because you don't, just as far as anecdotally, like when I go out of town, I got to pay Alex Williams to watch my dogs. Isn't with a cat, you don't need to pay anyone? You just leave the food out?
Cats, I guess cats are kind of okay in their cells, but you got all that litter you got to buy for them. I don't know. A dog, you just open the door and it goes outside.
That's true, but I got to get the poop bag. So, all right, 7% increase in the cost of pets year to year for dogs, even more for cat owner. What about bunnies, Deborah?
It doesn't list bunnies. They're animal racist.
There you go. They are. All right. Thank you for that, Deborah. All right, Sabrina standing by with your top stories. When we come back, Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence, now speaking in this committee hearing, the Intelligence Committee hearing. We'll dip into that. A couple of big local stories we want to tackle as well. Social medias are active throughout the broadcast. Join us there at Mark Arum, MarkArum, and at WSB Radio.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from iRoofer, FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing for the latest in designer architectural shingles. Ask about 0% financing. That's FGA Roofing.
How easy is it to save energy and money in 30 seconds? Let's count the ways. Power down unused devices. Swap out traditional bulbs for LEDs. Adjust your thermostat for the season. Change your air filter. Move furniture away from your vents. And turn off the lights when you leave a room. Georgia Power's more than just your power company. We're your saving sidekick. Get started at georgiapower.com/energy efficiency today. Ready, set, save.
When it comes to beautiful, they wrote the book. Siding, paint, windows, and doors gives your home a brand new look.
At Superior Pro, we use the highest quality materials and the best techniques in windows, siding, painting, doors, and more. Plus, all our projects come with an extended labor warranty. Visit SuperiorPro.com for a free in-home design consultation.
Superior Pro, the pros to know.
Hope. It's more than a word. It's a breakthrough in the making. At City of Hope, we're pushing the boundaries of science, targeting cancer at the molecular level, with teams of experts working together to personalize a treatment plan right down to your DNA with unprecedented speed, making every second count, with appointments in as little as 24 hours. City of Hope, advancing cancer care at life-saving speed. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, you can save on USDA Choice Boneless Chuck Roast, on sale for just $6.99 a pound with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Is your heating and cooling system so old you can't remember when it was installed? If so, it's time to get protection from Reliable Heating and Air. Hey friends, it's Mark Aram. Check this out. Let Reliable Heating and Air protect your AC from breakdowns and your budget. Just $14.99 a month. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. No deductibles, no claims or paperwork, no service fees, just coverage for your aging AC and heating systems. Get all the information you need online at reliableair.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 10:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by your Metro Atlanta Amco dealers. Happening right now, senators question intelligence officials a day after it was revealed war plans were exposed in a group chat. Members of the Trump administration inadvertently shared details for an attack on Yemen with a journalist on a text chain that included Vice President Vance and the Defense Secretary. ABC's Martha Raddatz has more.
Vance, who is normally in lockstep with the president, texting the group at 8:16 on Friday, March 14th, saying, "I think we're making a mistake," pointing out that what's happening off the coast of Yemen affects European trade more than U.S. trade. "I am not sure the president is aware how inconsistent this is with his message on Europe right now," Vance says, and suggests delaying the strikes for a month. Hegseth responds to Vance 11 minutes later, saying, "Waiting a month does not fundamentally change the calculus."
And she reports if adversaries had managed to hack those messages, this could have potentially cost lives. The president said to be aware now of the breach. Sunny skies today and mild, highs around 76 this afternoon. Some of the winds gusting up to 30 miles an hour. The new pollen count is now in, and today's pollen count is still very high. 1,295. It's mainly the tree pollens that are causing you problems. Oak, pine, birch, sweet gum, and hackberry. Yesterday's pollen count was more than 3,000. This just in Gwinnett County police arrest a suspect in a 2022 cold case with help from police in New York. Homicide detectives say that they were contacted by NYPD after a suspect under investigation there gave them intimate details about a murder case that were not made public. With that information, Gwinnett police were able to arrest and charge 20-year-old Delano Hill in the September 2022 stabbing death of a man in the front yard of a Swanee home on Ridge Oak Drive. Police had surveillance camera footage of the suspect, but until now, they had made no arrest. Hill's being held in the Gwinnett County Jail on charges of aggravated assault, felony murder, and malice murder. Happening today, the state Senate expected to vote on final passage of a bill that would ban cell phones in schools all across the state of Georgia. The bill prohibits public school students in grades kindergarten through 8th from accessing personal electronic devices during the school day. That would include smartphones, headphones, tablets, and even smart watches. Georgia Power kicking off a series of public hearings, giving the public the opportunity to provide input on future rate increases, infrastructure upgrades, and more.
It's all part of the Georgia Public Service Commission's review of the utility giant's integrated resource plan, which must be updated every 3 years. The public hearings continue daily through Friday, with another round set for the end of May. Customers can submit their comments on the Commission's website. It follows 6 rate hikes since the start of 2023, with the average residential customer now paying about $43 more per month than they were at that time. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
All right, if you know somebody looking for a home, there are a lot of so-called spec homes on the market right now, which could mean better prices for buyers, but builders are not so happy.
Census Bureau numbers show that after the pandemic started, construction of speculative or spec homes surged. They're usually more affordable and available quickly, but now some builders are signaling a pullback, including Brookhaven-based Beazer, where sales of quick move-ins represented almost 70% of closings in its last quarter. Atlanta-based Pulte said in January that it was cutting back. While builders work to clear the backlog, housing starts might slow and weigh on the economy. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti for 95.5 WSB.
Consumer confidence fell for the 4th straight month as Americans' anxiety about future expectations declined to a 12-year low amid rising concerns over tariffs and inflation. As we take a look at the markets, we're in the green right now. The Dow's up 53 at 42,636. NASDAQ is also up, and so is the S&P. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca has a look at your roads.
A crash was blocking the right lane of the downtown connector 7585 northbound near West Peachtree and Spring Streets. It seems that has moved to the shoulder, but traffic still slow as you leave 166 Langford Parkway, and it doesn't get any better once you're headed north out of the city on the Buford Spring connector. Construction barrels out there in the left lane almost the entire way up to Buford Highway. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Epward. Sunshine today, high 76, lows tonight in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 74. Thursday, sunny skies, morning low 46, afternoon high 75.
It is 60 degrees right now in Marietta with sunny skies, 60 in College Park. Powder Springs has 56 degrees. We'll have more news at 11 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
All the notifications you need.
This story developing in Marietta.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
We're following breaking news in Atlanta.
All in one place.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it today.
During talks yesterday, a White House source said that it was going extremely well, and an announcement, a positive one, was expected sometime in the near future.
Still to come, we'll update the ceasefire talks between Ukraine and Russia. But next to the Mark Arum Show, back live to the intelligence hearing 2 minutes away on 95.5 WSB.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer with experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. emoryhealthcare.org/Winship.
If you've been thinking about selling your home, now is the time. With a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can sell your home fast and for more than you expect. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. One of the most stressful things about selling your home is not being able to control the timing. Mark Spain Real Estate allows you to receive an all-cash offer on your home in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Storm season officially here, friends, and it wreaks havoc on your house and your roof. It's Mark Arum here. If you truly want peace of mind about your roof, and for many years to come, ask Dr. Roof about their lifetime warranty. Dr. Roof's warranty means they have your roof covered for the lifetime of your roof, and if anything comes up, Dr. Roof will take care of it. You never have to worry about a thing. They stand behind it since they've been in business for over 35 years. Now that is peace of mind. All the info online at drroof.com.
Got a leaky pipe? Ace Hardware Home Services is around the corner with everything you need to fix it, including the expert to do the fixing. Heating or cooling issue? We've got a trusted pro for that, too. We're not just the helpful hardware folks. We're the helpful home service and repair folks, too. From plumbing to heating and cooling, the licensed and insured experts at Ace Hardware Home Services are ready to keep your home running smoothly all year long. Get help today at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
Your roof has been impacted. Heavy rain, strong winds, damaging storms. Home Fix It show host Dave Baker here. I recommend you get a free roof analysis from my award-winning roofer, Findlay Roofing. No obligation, no charge. FindlayRoofing.com. Roof.
Happy 78th birthday, former Atlanta resident Sir Elton John. Never met the man. Deborah, you're our official musical correspondent. Do you ever run into him at the record store?
Absolutely. When there was a HMV at Lenox Mall, I ran into him there, and he used to come up to our old radio station.
Yeah, he used to live in the same building as my grandmother and my aunt. It was a high-rise in Buckhead, and he had like the top 2 floors of the penthouse, and you could just take the elevator up. I never met him, but you get off the elevator to his floors, and he had interesting paintings hanging in the wall, but I never got a chance to meet him. I love his music. If Longoria was here, I would have done all Elton John music today, but I didn't want to add any extra work to Vinny Bag of Donuts, who's doing a fantastic job, by the way, in the other side of the takeout window. All right, let's go back live. Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence right now, talking to the Senate Intelligence Committee.
Threats, including to Israel's population, U.S. forces deployed in Iraq and Syria, and to U.S. and international military and commercial shipping and transit. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is pursuing stronger strategic and conventional capabilities that can target U.S. forces and allies in the region, as well as the U.S. homeland, to bolster North Korea's leverage and stature, defend its regime, and achieve at least tacit recognition as a nuclear weapons power.
All right, we're going to continue to monitor that. Again, we heard at the top of the committee hearing, we heard from Senator Tom Cotton, who gave his opening remarks, and then Democratic Senator Mike Warner brought up the signal controversy. Now, speaking of Tom Cotton, I got a DM on Instagram. Apparently, I'm trying to get the verification on this, but Tom Cotton was on Fox News talking about that signal story, the scandal, if you will. And basically, Tom Cotton says that the Biden administration enacted or allowed government employees to use the Signal app. They gave authorization for folks in like the State Department or the Pentagon or the West Wing, whatever. Like they said, okay, you can. It apparently is so widely used in D.C. circles and political circles that the Biden administration said, all right, yeah, we approve this. You can use it to talk with your staff, to coordinate, whatever you have to do. Right? It's the hip thing to do in political circles is to have these Signal chats, these encrypted apps. So that just carried over to the Trump administration. Like, okay, it's allowed to be used by staffers, right? There's no restrictions on that, which is fine, right? If it makes your job easier to communicate with your crew, I mean, Deborah just sent me her Signal app handle. Maybe that's instead of using GChat on the show, we use this Signal app if it's that good. I have no problem with that. If it makes your job easier and there's approval, fine. I think the rub is, though, was it classified information that was shared on Signal? That I don't think the Biden administration gave approval and said, hey, go ahead and share classified info with each other on this app, which is obviously, it might be encrypted, but everything is hackable these days, right? I mean, unbelievable. So I'm trying to find that audio from Senator Tom Cotton, who is heading this Intelligence Committee. We will monitor that and, of course, bring you updates throughout the day on 95.5 WSB. I do want to update that U.S., Russia, Ukraine possible ceasefire. U.S. and Russia expected to release a joint statement after talks in Saudi Arabia over securing a maritime ceasefire in the Black Sea. That's big. CBS's Rami Incencio has some details.
We have gotten a few lines out from the Kremlin spokesperson in Moscow, though, perhaps trying to set some kind of expectation. One line is that the outcomes of the meeting have been sent to their capitals, their respective capitals, and are now, quote unquote, being analyzed. And this is from Dmitry Peskov. He says that they talked about technical talks, about details, and that those definitely won't be made public.
All right, so Rami Incencio there. I mean, if we can get any sort of normalization of relations between the United States, Russia, and Ukraine, that is a very good thing. In that region, I've been fascinated by Turkey, mostly because of the Ancient Alien documentary on Netflix. If you haven't seen it yet, Graham Hancock, who we had on the show, there's so much historical stuff in Turkey right now. My sister-in-law is Turkish. I need to get over there to visit Göbekli Tepe and all this stuff. So I'm super hyper aware of what's going on politically in Turkey because it hit close to home. This is not good. Protests in Turkey are growing after the arrest of a Democratic rival to Turkey's strongman leader. CBS's Vicky Barker reports from the Foreign Desk in London.
Fury and frustration on the streets of Istanbul against the increasingly autocratic President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Analyst Monica Marks.
There's a feeling that this is really the last stop for Turkey's political train before it reaches full dictatorship station.
The flashpoint, the arrest on corruption charges of Istanbul's popular mayor and Erdogan's biggest rival, Ekrem İmamoğlu. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
Oh, I need that to be calm and peaceful over there so I can go visit Göbekli Tepe and all the amazing sites there. They actually think, archaeologists and historians believe that the Göbekli Tepe site might be where Noah's Ark landed. Oh, protesters interrupting the Senate hearing, the Senate intel hearing. Let's see if we can go live to CNN there, Vinny.
As I was saying, the fact that Communist China funds Code Pink, which interrupts...
All right, Paul, I think I can pull the audio of the protesters.
So that protester was a Code Pink lunatic.
I don't know what that means.
We're
I think so. How does that happen? I guess the Capitol is open to the public, right? Free speech. I don't know, but the security, like that's the second time in the last 2 minutes that protesters interrupted the hearing there. Oh, Kash Patel, the FBI director, now testifying in the Intelligence Committee. Let's listen in.
In this country is a border state. Arkansas is no exception. Allow me to highlight the work of the men and women in the FBI and state and local law enforcement in the state of Arkansas. Since February 5th alone, we've had 220 illegal immigrants arrested on charges varying from violent offenses, weapons offenses, narcotics offenses, and serious violent felonies. 253 separate individuals have been charged related to those offenses. And here's something I want the American people to hear about narcotics and countering narcotics. Thousands of pounds of narcotics were seized in these 3 weeks in the state of Arkansas. Thousands, worth tens of millions of dollars. Everything from fentanyl to meth to cocaine to heroin to marijuana and more.
All right, Kash Patel, FBI director, testifying. Again, this was a scheduled Senate intelligence hearing. And the timing was right after that big Signal app story broke yesterday. I didn't see Kash Patel's name on that Signal text group. So apparently he wasn't on there. I wonder if he's mad at that. I wonder if he's like, why? I guess as FBI director, it's domestic. Do you think he's like, why wasn't I on this group chat? I'd be mad if Vinny and Deborah and Blue and Longoria had a group chat and I wasn't on that. All right, so we're going to continue to monitor that. Kash Patel now speaking. This is a horrible local story. We haven't really updated it, but wildfires here in North Georgia, Deborah.
Wildfires aren't just out west anymore. They are just north of us in Floyd County. The Georgia forestry officials said about 195 acres were burned. It all started as a small house fire, but that spread quickly due to the dry air and windy conditions. Many residents were evacuated, and forestry officials now say the fire is about 90% contained.
I wonder if there are certain times of the year, Blue, maybe you can check this for me, where there's a burn ban in effect. I think it's usually in the fall that there's either a statewide or a countywide burn ban where you can't burn things because of that. I wouldn't imagine it's active at this point. I remember flying in the WSB Skycopter years ago, and I mean, obviously you get a gorgeous view of North Georgia, but in the fall when folks would burn leaves, you just look out in the horizon and you'd see like just these pillars of smoke all around. It was kind of like Dances with Wolves. Do you remember when the cook was making a fire out on the prairie and the smoke went up and the Native Americans found him because of the smoke? I'd be like, these guys are not hiding very well. If there's a burn ban, there would be dozens of these smoke pillars just heading up toward the sky. So anyway, that's not good in Floyd County. We'll monitor that. A big brush fire up in Floyd County. All right, Blue's going to find out what the burn ban. You have the info, Blue?
Yeah, it looks like it's a summer burn ban, actually. This is from last year. They extended, from May 1st to September 30th.
Okay.
This is from 2024. I imagine they do something similar this year. There's some approved purposes, like you can reduce yard litter or do firefighting practice, that sort of thing. But there's definitely... Yeah, certain counties where there's non-burns.
Yeah, all right. Thank you for that, Blue. All right, speaking of burning, brake lights. I have no idea. Live to the Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, here's Ashley Frasca.
Because I host a garden show?
Yes, of course. Yeah, you would know. Is there burn bans yet?
Burn or bird?
Burn.
Oh,
bird.
yeah, there are.
Okay.
You can go on the Georgia Forestry Commission website to find out more.
There you go.
All right, now at 10:48 in the Coolray Carrier Traffic Center. Still watching the delays downtown, though a crash has cleared on 75-85 northbound at West Peachtree and Spring Streets. Look out for construction crews doing their work in the right lane of 575 southbound up at Riverstone Parkway through Canton. No big delays there. And paving continues in Norcross on Buford Highway southbound near Beaver Ruin and Mitchell Roads. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
Everyone has an opinion.
We have become an idiotic nation that doesn't know how to even debate anything, so it doesn't surprise
Eric
me.
Von Hessler has an opinion.
You will still age.
And some advice.
Start doing things when you're younger. Drink a lot of water.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
And you will still die.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
When I think of the word deck, I think of a lot of things. It could be a deck, or a screened-in porch, a Four Seasons room, even an outdoor patio. To me, those are all decks. Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. If you want to upgrade your current deck or add a new deck to your outdoor living space, you need my friends at Ben Hill Renovations. See, Ben Hill Renovations has been building decks for over 60 years. They're experts at creating decks of all shapes and sizes. They're deck experts. Dexperts, if you will. With deck season right around the corner, now is the time to put your deck dreams into motion. Contact Ben Hill Renovations today and have your deck ready for entertaining this spring and summer. Ben Hill Renovations offers multiple financing options, up to 18 months no interest, and affordable monthly payments with approved credit. Schedule a free at-home design consultation today at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964. bhrenovations.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Hey, if you've been thinking about selling your home, now is the time. With a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, now you can sell your home fast and for more than you expect. Hey, Sean Hannity here. One of the most stressful things about selling your home is not being able to control the timing. Now, Mark Spain Real Estate, they allow you to receive an all-cash offer and close in as little as 21 days. Just go to markspain.com to find out what your guaranteed offer will be. That's markspain.com, and you can start packing.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One question I'm always asked is, how did you become the largest injury firm in the world with over 1,000 attorneys and $25 billion in verdicts and settlements? One way was our financial strength. Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. To prosecute a typical case costs up to $250,000 in case cost. We advance them all. Product liability cases can have similar costs with an army of lawyers on the other side. Automobile insurance companies have the resources to fight. Guess what? So do we. Many law firms simply may not have the financial firepower to work up your case the way you deserve. And we don't charge by the hour. No recovery, no fee. If you have a question about your case or wish to become a client, go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer. 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Why does it matter that D. Geller & Son is Atlanta's first diamond wholesaler? Because we get first dibs. When diamonds come to Atlanta, they come to D. Geller & Son first. A bunch of diamonds that look the same on paper, but there's about 1 in every 10 that you can see from across the room, and a lot in every 10 that are what my dad calls duds. So we keep the good one, we pack the rest back up, and they go somewhere else. That somewhere else is usually a big box store that's not quite as picky. That means the same color, same clarity, and same price gets you more brilliance, more sparkle, more bang for your diamond buck at D. Geller & Son. That's what we call the D. Geller difference. So why are we so picky? We live, work, and play right here in Atlanta. So when it comes to getting you the best diamond, we have to get it right. That's why Atlanta's first diamond wholesaler became Atlanta's favorite diamond retailer. Come see the D. Geller & Son difference for yourself and find out why we've been Atlanta's most trusted jeweler since 1939. In Atlanta, Kennesaw, and Sandy Springs, online at dgeller.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or consumercellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
10:54 on the Mark Arum Show, monitoring this intelligence briefing going on right now. Senator Mike Warner is the vice chairman, Democratic vice chairman of the Intelligence Committee, starting to lean in now to Tulsi Gabbard and John Ratcliffe, the CIA director. Let's listen in.
Just at the outset, I mean, this was not only sloppy, it not only violated all procedures, but if this information had gotten out, American lives could have been lost. The Houthis had this information, could reposition their defensive systems. So I want to get a little more information about this. Director Gabbard, did you participate in the group chat with Secretary of Defense and other Trump senior officials discussing the Yemen war plans?
Senator, I don't want to get into the specifics.
Ma'am, were you on? You're not going to be willing to address. So you're not. Are you denying? Matt, will you answer my question, ma'am? You were not TG on this group chat?
I'm not going to get into the specifics.
So you refuse to acknowledge whether you were on this group chat?
Senator, I'm not going to get into the specifics.
Why are you going to get into the specifics? Is it because it's all classified?
Because this is currently under review by the National Security Council.
Because it's all classified? If it's not classified, share the text now.
As the White House previously
stated, is it classified or non-classified information on this text?
I can confirm.
Director Radcliffe, were you on the group chat?
Senator, I was on a signal messaging group.
So you were the John Ratcliffe on that chat?
I was.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I provide some context, Senator, to that?
Yes, but I've got a series of questions.
Well, but I think it's that you made a couple of comments about signal messaging using encrypted apps. So that we're clear, one of the first things that happened when I was confirmed as CIA director was signal was loaded onto my computer at the CIA, as it is for most CIA officers. One of the things that I was briefed on very early, Senator, was by the CIA records management folks about the use of signal as a permissible work use. It is. That is a practice that preceded the current administration to the Biden administration.
Director Ratcliffe, I've got a series of questions. If you're making the statement, the statement, the signal is a secure channel.
No, can I answer that? It is.
I've got a series
of decryption. So
it is. I understand encryption.
It is permissible to use to communicate and coordinate for work purposes, provided, Senator, that any decisions that are made are also recorded through formal channels. Right. So those were procedures that were implemented. My staff implemented those processes, followed those processes, complied with those processes, and finally, just please. So my communications, to be clear, in a signal message group were entirely permissible and lawful, and did not include classified information.
Well, we will make that determination.
All right, so that was actually really good info there. So that is the CIA director, John Ratcliffe, confirming what we had heard earlier from Senator Tom Cotton, that it's legal and permissible to use that Signal app, and it started prior to the Trump administration. Legal and permissible, and he said no classified information was shared in that chat group. Interesting stuff there. All right, that is the key. Was there, if it's legal and permitted, and there was no classified information shared, is this a non-story then? The question is, was classified information shared on that chat? All right, really great stuff. I'll continue to monitor that. News, weather, and traffic 2 minutes away on WSB.
Have your previous remodeling experiences been stressful? Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. Use Exovations and get a completely different experience. We're a state licensed contractor, show up on time, provide you a project schedule, a fixed price, and your project delivered on time, on budget, and without all that stress that you usually hear about in construction. Schedule your free quote today at exovations.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hot water heater just not cutting it anymore? You don't get that piping hot shower you want every morning? Hey, it's Mark Aaron back from my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. Check out this amazing deal. New water heater, only $29.99 a month, and make no payments for 3 whole months. Or you can go tankless, only $59.99 a month, and you can enjoy that lovely, endless hot water. Same day water heater installation guaranteed, or they pay you $300. Get that new water heater now. Save a ton of money. Just go online to reliableair.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 11 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by the Next Generation Xfinity 10G network. Well, the senators are questioning intelligence officials this morning. President Trump tells NBC that the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, has, quote, learned a lesson after a journalist claimed that he was included on a group text that discussed plans to strike Houthi targets in Yemen. The editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg, says it all started after he responded to a request on a messaging app.
And you say, yeah, sure, message me. And then the next thing you know, you're part of the PC Houthi small group, messaging group on Signal with Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth and the head of the CIA.
And now President Trump says the incident was, quote, the only glitch in 2 months, and it turned out not to be a serious one. In a post on X this morning, the White House press secretary saying no war plans were discussed and no classified material was ever sent to the thread. All right, your weather for today, sunny skies and breezy. Some of those winds could be gusting up to 30 miles an hour. Afternoon high around 76. The pollen count going to be high again today. Today's count is 1,295. It's the tree pollen, oak, pine, birch, sweet gum, and hackberry that's giving you the problems. The National Weather Service issuing a fire danger warning for central and north Georgia. It's in effect through 8 o'clock tonight. Outdoor burning is strongly discouraged. The FBI Atlanta confirming another round of immigration arrests here in Metro Atlanta.
This latest enforcement effort includes 21 arrests, according to a statement from the FBI. Special agents also recovered 1 handgun in the local operation. It's part of a nationwide crackdown over the last 2 months focused on deporting people with criminal backgrounds who were in the country illegally. We've reached out to Homeland Security officials for more information on the ages and criminal histories of those arrested. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
A Northside Forsyth Hospital nurse facing serious charges in a deadly wreck. Kayla Proctor telling deputies that she worked 3 12-hour shifts at the hospital before crashing into another vehicle earlier this month along Highway 9 and Atlanta Highway. She says that she was on her way home from working a night shift and fell asleep while behind the wheel. 72-year-old Jean Holbrook was killed in that crash. Proctor is charged with homicide by vehicle in the 2nd degree. The state Senate expected to vote today on final passage of a bill that would ban cell phones in schools all across the state of Georgia. The bill prohibits public schools K through 8th from accessing kids in those schools from accessing their personal electronic devices during the school day. The Fox Theater is accepting applications for its All Access Pass program that offers high school students interested in working in the performing arts an immersive educational experience. The curriculum provides up-close access to careers in the performing arts industry, offering students hands-on experiences, mentorships, and career exploration opportunities to inspire the next generation of arts professionals, according to them. And we all know about grumpy old men. They find themselves more easily disgusted by things as they get older, but it may not just be their old age that's causing this. Vicki Barker has more.
Scientists have long known that younger women tend to get disgusted by certain tastes and substances more easily than younger men. Possibly nature's way of protecting not only themselves, but a sensitive fetus should they be pregnant. Now, Swiss scientists say that disgust sensitivity, as it's called, increases in men in later later years, apparently as a mechanism to protect their aging bodies. So by the time older women's disgust levels start to fall off, so do older men's grow until they reach old age more or less on the same page.
All right, let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 85 at 42,668. NASDAQ is up almost 0.5%, and the S&P is up slightly. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Sabrina. Right now we are watching construction. It's on the Beaufort Spring Connector northbound as you make your way out of Midtown up toward Buckhead. That construction on the Beaufort Spring Connector is blocking a left lane, so heads up for that. If you're traveling through downtown, a few brake lights, 75, 85 northbound from University Avenue up to Peachtree Pine Street, and they're setting up that left lane construction in DeKalb. It's on the I-20 eastbound collector distributor ramp between 285 and Wesley Chapel. That's why you're seeing the brake lights on 285 northbound as you try to make that transition to I-20 east in DeKalb County. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Epworth. Sunny skies today, high 76, lows tonight in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 74. Thursday, sunshine, morning lows in the mid-40s, daytime highs in the mid-70s.
The WSB Storm Tracker radar is clear at 61 degrees in Jonesboro. Johns Creek has 63, and at 63 in Jefferson. We'll have more news at 11:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Time to be near you. 11:05 on what has turned out to be a gorgeous morning here in Atlanta. Welcome back, friends. Mark Aram and crew with you till noon. Coming up in 17 minutes. 15 minutes. Steve Coogan, actor, is going to join us. You've seen him in a ton of stuff. I can't wait to talk to him. At 11:35, Deborah's got a pair of tickets to give away to the Where the Party At tour, September 12th, Lakewood Amphitheater. Nelly, Ja Rule, Eve Chingy, and more. That's coming up in 30 minutes here on the Mark Aram Show. We've been monitoring the big story of the day, that Signal app chat fallout, in which a Politico reporter, the editor of Politico, no, not Politico, The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg, was added to this app with all the heads of state when it comes to security in the United States, apparently, allegedly talking about the imminent attacks against the Houthis in the Mideast. And we, it's been a big story, and we got some clarification during the break there. We heard from John Ratliff, the CIA director. He stated while he was being grilled by Senator Mike Warner, the Democratic vice chairman of the Intelligence Committee, about that Signal app, the CIA director said it's legal and permissible. And we believe, going back to the Biden administration, they made it allowable. In fact, John Ratcliffe said that everyone at the CIA, that was one of the first things they did. They installed the Signal app on his phone and his computer, and it's legal and allowed. And he said that there was no classified information shared in that group chat that included Tulsi Gabbard, Vice President Vance, Secretary of State Rubio, et al. So that's where we just left off right before the news. I want to play a little more audio. Senator Warner not letting up on his questioning of Ratcliffe or Tulsi Gabbard.
Let me go on. Director Gabbard, you are the security executive and set access guidelines for classified information. Did you contact the defense secretary or others after this specific military planning was put out and say, hey, we should be doing this in a SCIF?
There was no classified material that was shared in that
So then
Signal
if there was no
chat.
classified material, share it with the committee. You can't have it both ways. These are important jobs. This is our national security. Bobbing and weaving and trying to, filibuster your answer. So please answer the question. If this was Director Gabbard, if this was a rank and file intelligence officer who did this kind of careless behavior, what would you do with them?
Senator, I'll reiterate that there was no classified material that was shared in that
Ma'am, if there's no classified materials, share. And then if there's no classified materials, then you can't even answer the question whether you're on the chat. This is strangely familiar, and I think my colleagues will remember, when you couldn't answer the question, is Edward Snowden a traitor? Ma'am, I have serious doubts about anyway. Director Gabbard, I'm going to give you this. tweeted just 11 days ago, and I'm quoting you, "Any unauthorized release of classified information is a violation of the law and will be treated as such." So if this information is classified, what are you going to do?
Senator, 2 points here. First of all, there's a difference between inadvertent release versus
careless and sloppy,
malicious leaks of classified information. The second point is there was no classified information that was on
the
the
information
Signal
committee
group
should get
chat.
that information. Director
And the
Patel,
National Security
Director
Council
Patel,
was
my
reviewed.
time's about out.
All right, so there you go. So according to both John Ratcliffe, the CIA director, and Tulsi Gabbard, there was no classified information released in that Signal chat, which if that is true, then this story probably goes away. But if that is true, there was no classified information released in that Signal chat, which Jeffrey Goldberg was inadvertently added to the text chain. Does that free him up now to release all of the information that he received in that chat? Because he's been judicious. When he broke this story yesterday, he didn't release anything about the attack on the Houthis, the planned attack on the Houthis, because he just assumed that was classified intelligence. So if they are now saying that it's classified it's not classified intelligence, does Jeffrey Goldberg have the ability to just release all of the text messages that he was privy to? I'll be waiting to see that. I'll be watching. Because if there's nothing classified, then this is a non-story. As the CIA director said, John Ratcliffe said that it's legal and permitted, the Signal app. Eric Erickson was talking about it. Everyone that he knows in D.C., in the political world, in the intelligence world, in the law enforcement world, uses this Signal app. Heck, Deborah Green uses the Signal app. I'm not sure for what. Maybe she's in the CIA. Oh, Deborah. Deborah, tell me now, if you're in the CIA and I'm not, I'm going to be really, really upset.
Yeah, I've been secretly not recruiting you for all these years.
Yeah, you've been telling the higher ups. You were telling John Ratcliffe, do not recruit Aram for the CIA. Actually, after watching Madam Secretary, I think I want a job in the State Department now. I think that might be easier to obtain than to see. Anyway, back to the Signal app. It's widely used. It's legal and permitted, says the CIA director. It was installed on his first day of work. They're like, hey, this is how you communicate with people. So if there was no classified information shared, this is not a story. It's simply Mike Walls inadvertently added the wrong person to a text group, which we've all done. We've all texted the wrong person before. But if that's the case, then Jeffrey Goldberg has free reign to release what he says was in those text groups. What he said was the war plan, the battle plan against the Houthis. Now we go back to the audio of Pete Hegseth yesterday on the tarmac, which we played earlier, where he said he was adamant there were no war plans released. So if that's the case, if there's nothing classified, there's no war plans, then I would imagine Jeffrey Goldberg any moment now. I should follow him on X. I don't follow him. I didn't really know his name. I mean, I knew of it, but I had nothing. Let me go ahead and follow him in case he says, oh, it's not classified, then let me go ahead and release that. Really interesting story. All right, let's go. The hearing's going on. Tulsi Gabbard now being questioned by another senator. Let's listen. I'm not exactly sure who's questioning Tulsi Gabbard now.
Gabbard, something on a very
Martin
different
Heinrich,
track here,
Democratic
which
from New
is
Mexico.
I very much agree with the conclusion of the ATA that foreign illicit drug actors are a major threat in the United States, and many of you have spoken to this today. Is the IC wrong in its omission?
All right, we'll monitor that. He's talking about, which is obviously a very important story, drug trafficking, et cetera, but had nothing to do with the Signal app. All right, so, I mean, obviously, geez, the story's changed quite a bit since we came on the air at 9. Well, maybe not the story's changed, but the stories have changed regarding to that inadvertent Signal text group. This is Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster, former national security advisor to President Trump in his first administration.
These kinds of classified conversations, they should be held, in a specially compartmented intelligence facility, like the Situation Room of the White House. And then if you have somebody traveling, you connect them via secure communications.
Yeah, if it was classified. But according to Tulsi Gabbard and John Ratcliffe, CIA director, there was no classified information shared.
There are. And, every administration, new administration, is kind of a chaotic period. And you get breakdowns like this. What I'd like to see is just the administration should just own it and say, yeah, we made a mistake. We're not going to do that anymore.
All right. Obviously, a still developing story. We will stay on top of it, but a lot of moving parts. Again, if you're just joining us, ironically, the Senate Intelligence Committee hearing was scheduled for today, the day after The Atlantic broke that news story where Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor, journalist, was added inadvertently to this text chain, caused a big uproar. And now, because we are having this hearing, we're getting some more clarification from Tulsi Gabbard and John Ratcliffe. John Ratcliffe said that the Signal app is allowed and legal, and Tulsi Gabbard saying there was no classified intelligence shared on that app. So we'll see if Jeffrey Goldberg will release the entirety of that text conversation. This is right out of West Wing. Remember that TV show, West Wing? This is obviously pre-app days, but another good television show. All right, this is a crazy story. I don't know what's going on in my head, but in the last 6 months, I've left the house without my wallet. I've got a new system where I keep my keys in my wallet before I leave the house. And unfortunately, some of it's happened on date night, where Maya and I will go out on a Saturday night. We'll get to the restaurant, and I'll do one of these things where I check. I'm like, oh my goodness, my wallet, Maya, and she's like, you just want me to pay for dinner? But I keep forgetting my wallet, and sometimes it happens on my way to work, and if I'm only 5 minutes away from the house or 10 minutes. I have to turn around all the time to come back because without my wallet, I can't get in the building here. So I'm familiar with leaving your wallet at home. I have never, though, Deborah Green, left my passport at home.
Another day, another airline story. This one out of Los Angeles. A flight headed to Shanghai had to turn around after 2 hours when the pilot realized, oops, he forgot his passport at home in San Francisco. They were able to get back on track, and everybody got a $15 food voucher.
That's it? $15?
15?
Right? So you're 2 hours in the flight. Deborah, it was the flight where was the flight going to and from?
It was from Los Angeles to Shanghai.
China. All right, so that's a long flight. That's a long. And they're 2 hours in, and the pilot goes, oh, dang, I forgot my passport. I would imagine just fly and to turn around. So then he's got to turn around, land the plane, get off the plane, leave the airport, drive home, get his passport, drive back, get through security, get back on the plane, and they get $15 of food credit?
How did he get through the first time?
Yeah, but you're flying international. Well, I don't know how it is for pilots. I'm trying to think when we fly international, do I have to show my passport prior to or after? I can't remember.
When you go through security, you do.
Interesting. All right. That's crazy. If you're 2 hours in, if I was driving 2 hours away and I realized I left my wallet at home, that's it. It is what it is. That dude's got to get, or woman, who I don't know if the pilot was a man or a woman, but he's got to get reprimanded. You can't do that. That added 6 hours to the trip, depending on how far he lived from. And can you imagine the scene when he lands, gets in his car, racing home, and then he gets home and he's throwing, opening his drawers. Where's my passport? Where's my passport? You probably know this, Deborah, but in the CIA, I learned this from the recruit. There are two types of passports. We have the regular blue passport here in the United States, but if you are a member of the CIA or the diplomatic community, it's a black passport.
Ooh.
I'm going to check Deborah, see if she has a blue or black passport. Our friendship might be over, Deborah. If you literally are in the CIA, you've been in the CIA for all these years, and I've been struggling to get in there, our friendship might be over. All right, we're going to continue to monitor what's going on in that intelligence briefing on the Senate floor. But let's check traffic, shall we, on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Live with the latest, here's Alex Williams.
Hey, good morning, Mark. We are still watching some delays out of Gwinnett County via 85 southbound from Pleasant Hill Road as you make the trek down into Norcross, passing Jimmy Carter. We also had that construction on Buford Highway in the left lane, right around Beaver Ruin Road. That is a paving operation there. Once you get closer to Midtown crash partially in the right lane, 85 southbound, approaching those ramps to 75 north and Brookwood. And the construction continues in the cab, left lane of the I-20 eastbound collector distributor ramp between 285 and Wesley Chapel Road. Traffic brought to you by your Atlanta Braves. Your Braves are back. Don't miss the opening homestand at Truist Park, April 4th through the 10th. Visit Braves.com/promos to see all the fun and purchase your tickets. Atlanta Braves baseball, we are Braves country. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
All the notifications you need.
The story developing in Marietta.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
We're following breaking news in Atlanta.
All in one place.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it today.
Our weather can be crazy. Dry for days and drenched with storms. Extreme heat to bitter cold, and your roof takes all the abuse. Dave Baker for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. If your roof has problems, it may be showing you signs. Inside, look for wet spots on the ceiling or walls. Outside, check for streaks and stains or granules in the ground. If you find these, think of Findlay first. The perfect match for any roofing issues, and they offer 0% financing. Schedule your free roof analysis at findlayroofing.com. Roof.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Are you looking for trustworthy automotive service that exceeds your expectations? Well, look no further than Rocco's European Garage. This is Rocco, and my family and I built this company by prioritizing honesty with upfront, all-in pricing and always allowing the customer to approve the work prior to us beginning. And if you're concerned about downtime, we offer a 3-day appointment window to get you back on the road quicker. Experience automotive service like never before at one of Rocco's European Garage's 6 locations or online at roccoseuropeangarage.com.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now. 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
You work hard, and when the job's been hard on you and you get hurt, you need the strong arm, John Foy & Associates. Hey, it's Smilin' Mark McKay, and after an injury on the job, you should get every workers' compensation benefit you deserve. John Foy has a team of experienced attorneys with a winning track record who specialize only in fighting for injured workers. The strong arm will fight for you. Get your free case evaluation with zero upfront costs. JohnFoy.com.
Oh, it's happening.
We crying.
No, we're crying.
Just call it, man.
Hey, Kurt, you can cry.
Oh,
you can
thanks.
cry. Everybody cry. Get
This is-
started.
you know what?
Oh, my favorite fictional director there, Damien Cockburn, a.k.a. Steve Coogan from Tropic Thunder, actor and comedian, joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. Steve, good morning. How are you, brother?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm such a fan of you and Tropic Thunder. How did you wind up getting cast as Damien Cockburn?
I knew Ben Stiller from. How did I know Ben? I don't know. I think he tracked me down in the UK when he was over here because he'd seen my stuff on TV, or because I was already like pretty established in the UK, and he said, "Hey, will you come and be the director?" And I read the script. And I thought, this is great. It's a really good part. And then I get blown up.
Yeah.
And, that's right.
Very cinematic demise for Damien Cockburn. All right, you're on the show today to talk about The Penguin Lessons in theaters in 3 days on March 28th. Tell us about this movie.
Well, I play a cynical, disillusioned, middle-aged guy who adopts a penguin, and the penguin stops him being disillusioned and cynical and makes him a better teacher. And for me, it's perfect casting, because when I was offered the chance of being in a movie with a real penguin, my first reaction was, I don't want to be in a cute penguin movie.
Yeah.
But then I got stuck into the script with my collaborator and friend Jeff Pope, who wrote the screenplay for this film, and I said, let's make it. You know, I'd like to play the part as long as I can play a guy who doesn't like penguins.
Who had a better craft service table, you or the penguin?
Well, that's interesting. You know, they have the union is way stronger than the Screen Actors Guild. That's for sure, because they I wouldn't say his trailer was bigger than mine, but he got a lot better attention and supervision, and his rights were there was plenty of people lining up to assert the rights of the penguin, not so many to assert mine.
I've heard stories. I think it was Dances with Wolves, Kevin Costner's horse in the movie. He became such a friend of Costner. Costner was able to adopt the horse after the filming. Did you adopt your penguin screen pal?
Oh, that's interesting. You know what? I would love. I actually was so. I've been, back in the old. It's funny how our attitude to animals has changed. You know, back in the 1970s, you could buy a lion from Harrods in London, from the department store. Literally, a real baby lion. It was like there's no kind of governance of any kind. But I became pretty attached to it. But these penguins live with this couple, this French couple, and they're like sort of penguin. Their whole lives are centered around penguins and their welfare. And some of them live in their house. You know, they live in sort of like doggy baskets.
We've got some amazing penguins here at the Georgia Aquarium. Oscar nominee Steve Coogan, The Penguin Lessons in theaters March 28th. I'll go ahead and share the trailer on my social medias. Steve, really appreciate your time. Best of luck on the movie, and hopefully we can get you back on soon. All right, Sabrina has got your news, weather, and traffic in 3 minutes. When we come back, we'll revisit our interview with Senator Jon Ossoff, and we'll monitor the Senate intelligence hearing next on the Mark Arum Show.
Don't miss your chance to take advantage of the buy two, get two free and pay nothing until 2027. Offer ending soon, only from Window Nation. Schedule your free estimate now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
see this garage door? I gotta be honest with you. It's ugly. I mean, successful, attractive homeowner like you, it's time to move on. This is not the garage door your parents thought you'd spend the rest of your life with. And that ain't true with everything in life, don't get me wrong. I mean, honey, if you're listening, you can't divorce me just because I'm no longer the handsome stud you married. But your garage door? The neighbors all think you can totally do better. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Let us show you how many sexy new alternatives there are. Just waiting for someone like you. You swipe right on a beautiful new design, we install everything in a lovely ceremony, and you and your new garage door live happily ever after. For better, not worse. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll come make it right. Maybe I should pick up some flowers on the way home.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Are you facing a fork in the road and deciding between continuing your career and retirement? I'm Wes Moss, host of Money Matters, and this massive life decision shouldn't be taken lightly. Talk with my team if you'd like help reviewing your retirement accounts and building a financial plan. We can help you review options and offer an opinion based on your best interests. You can find us at yourwealth.com. That's YOUR wealth.com.
For only a few more days, you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean plus a free hallway from Zero Res for only $109 when you mention me, Chris Chandler. This offer ends soon, so schedule your appointment now before it's too late. Schedule online at ZeroResAtlanta.com.
In Atlanta, there is always something happening.
Tanker truck crashed into the median.
The Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
No traffic getting through in either direction.
Helping you on your commute.
Avoid the area at all costs. Take Highway 155 or Highway 4223.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. Harsh words from lawmakers this morning on Capitol Hill after a reporter claimed he was accidentally included in a group message about detailed U.S. plans to strike Houthi rebels in Yemen before it happened. Senator Mark Warner, ranking member of the Senate Intelligence Committee.
I can just say this. If this was the case of a military officer or an intelligence officer, and they had this kind of behavior, they would be fired.
The White House says no war plans were discussed and no classified material was sent to the thread. Your weather for today, sunny and mild, high 76. The winds gusting up to 30 miles an hour. It'll be blowing the pollen around, which is extremely high today. The pollen count is 1,295. It's mainly tree pollen, oak, pine, birch, sweet gum, and hackberry. Happening right now, a possible sinkhole has opened up on North Avenue in Midtown Atlanta near Coca-Cola headquarters. It's about 3 feet deep and 2 feet wide. At least one car, we understand, wrecked after hitting that pothole, sinkhole. Atlanta police are directing traffic away from the sinkhole. One lane is open in the area, which is close to Lucky Street. We'll have more from the WSB 24-hour traffic center in just a couple of minutes. Now to Covington. 2 teenagers allegedly taken from their grandmother's house by a family member last night. This family member does not have custody, according to police, and they are now searching for the brother and sister. 15-year-old Zakia Anderson and 13-year-old David Rankin were last seen in a burgundy GMC Yukon with Georgia tag 00 CARE. That's 00 CARE. They are believed to be in the metro area still this morning. Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff reacting to the resignation of the Postmaster General, Louis DeJoy.
There's been some improvement, in particular since I started putting serious pressure on him, but I think it's clear we need new leadership at the USPS.
Senator Ossoff telling WSB News that he has written to the Board of Governors of the United States Postal Service to encourage them to find someone highly competent. A bill awaiting Governor Kemp's signature would upgrade Georgia's aging 911 system.
The proposal would create a so-called next-gen 911 system, and different jurisdictions would have to update their services. In Cobb County, they are months away from completing their transition to new systems. Emergency Communications Director Melissa Altario says,
a statewide system is going to improve interoperability across jurisdictional boundaries.
She says calls will be answered faster and dispatchers will be able to pinpoint a caller's location more accurately.
It can only get better from here.
The state's amended budget includes more than $5 million to help roll out the system. In Cobb County, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Today is what is known as Equal Pay Day. It signifies how far into the new year women employed full-time would have to work to earn what their male counterparts make on average in the year prior. And according to a breakdown of Census Bureau data by the National Women's Law Center, women in America currently earn 83 cents for every dollar that a man is paid. I wonder if Ashley Frasca from Green and Growing's heard about this. If you're a fan of roses and Barbra Streisand, you might like this story. Deborah Rodriguez reports the singer now has her own rose.
You don't bring me flowers.
Soon it won't matter because Barbra Streisand is ready to sell her very own rose to the public. 5 years after she and her gardener spotted a bubblegum pink sport blooming on a deep red lasting love branch on the star's property in Malibu. The singer secured naming rights for Barbara's baby. And now the LA Times says Otto & Sons in Fillmore will sell them for $58 a plant in June. They're already available online at April and Ashley in Arizona.
That's why they call me.
Let's take a look at your money as we take a look at the markets. The Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P are all in the green. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams has a look at your roads.
Hey, Sabrina, right now we are watching volume on the south side. 75 southbound, the brake lights in Stockbridge from Highway 138 getting down past Hudson Bridge Road. If you're traveling 75 north up into Kennesaw, a few delays between Highway 5 and Chastain Road, but not too bad there. And we're still seeing that construction on Buford Spring Connector northbound as you make your way north of Peachtree Street. That blocks the left lane. Might be clearing it up, though, because the delays are starting to improve. We will check on that. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunshine today, high 76, lows tonight in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 74. Thursday, sunny skies, morning low 46, afternoon high 75.
65 degrees in Duluth. It is 66 in Vinings. And Sandy Springs, you have 64 degrees under sunny skies. We'll have more news at noon. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Get the WSB radio app.
This story is breaking right now.
Get notifications from your source for news.
If you have the WSB radio app, then you saw the breaking news.
Get the WSB radio app.
Don't miss a thing with the WSB app.
Download it from the App Store today.
My reaction was, I think I've discovered a massive security breach in the United States.
Was it
National
or was
Security
it not a massive security breach? That's Jeffrey Goldberg. Now we've heard from John Ratcliffe and Tulsi Gabbard. There was no classified intelligence shared on that Signal chat. Will Goldberg release the data? We'll update you next on The Mark Arum Show.
Hey, folks, it's Shelley Winter here. You know, sometimes they make fun of me around the office because I doze off at my desk while doing show prep. Well, you know why that happened? It's because of a lack of sleep. I have sleep apnea. So if you snore or have sleep apnea also, you're not living life to the fullest. So listen up. I know you're tired, but in all seriousness, this is important. My friends over at Palmetto Sleep are changing lives with a custom-fit oral appliance that stops your snoring and treats sleep apnea. I'm not talking about something you buy out of a supermarket. This is a custom-made for your mouth and covered by your private medical insurance. What I love most is that they do everything from the diagnosis to the delivery of the oral appliance and everything in between. They even provide a take-home sleep study and virtual consults. If you're ready for a great night's sleep, you are ready for Palmetto Sleep. Go to palmettosleep.com. That's palmettosleep.com right now. Don't suffer from another sleepless night. palmettosleep.com.
Got a leaky pipe? Trouble with your AC? Ace Hardware Home Services is right around the corner with trusted pros to fix it. From plumbing to heating and cooling, we'll keep your home running smoothly all year long. Get help today at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
With baseball season just around the corner, I got a question for you, fellas. You're heading to the ballpark this summer, this spring. Watch your favorite team. Are you going to disappear when they sing the national anthem because you don't want to take off your hat and show your hair situation to 40,000 of your closest friends and neighbors? Hey, it's Mark Arum back from my friends at Advanced Hair. Don't put yourself in that awkward situation when the national anthem comes on and you got to take your hat off and show your receding hairline, your bald spot. Get treated right now with my friends at Advanced Hair. Quick, simple, one-day treatment, and your real hair begins to regrow the very next day, even guaranteed to grow for life. If you want to get your hair back, now's the time. Advanced Hair is the place. Takes just one visit, but first you need a free consultation. Schedule now, 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com. And if you move forward, you'll get $250 off plus 250 free grafts. One-day treatment, life-changing results, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow. Advancedhair.com. Fox, a camel, and a kangaroo. 11:37, friends. Final half hour of the Mark Arum Show. More fireworks in the Intelligence Committee hearing going on right now. We'll get back to that in just a second. But Deborah Green may or may not be in the CIA. She has the Signal app. She also has tickets to give away today. What do we have, Deborah?
I do have tickets. How about a pair of tickets for the Where the Party At tour? And that's Nelly, St. Lunatics, Ja Rule, Eve, Chingy, and a whole bunch more at Lakewood on September 12th.
All right, let's do the 12th caller to Blue. 12th caller to 404-872-0750. 12th caller to 404-872-0750 wins that amazing pair of tickets, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show and 95.5 WSB. All right, I was very busy during the news break. I got some more audio from Jeffrey Goldberg, who is the Atlantic editor that was added into that Signal chat group with some cabinet-level folks talking about the Houthi attack. Let's go back to the Senate Intelligence Committee. I believe we're going to hear from CIA Director John Ratcliffe being questioned by a Democratic senator. I didn't catch what senator is involved in this exchange.
Did Jeff Goldberg somehow... did he create a hoax that allowed him to become part of this Signal thread? Please answer the question. You don't insult the intelligence of the American people. Did he invite himself to the Signal thread?
I don't know how he was invited, but clearly he was added.
Clearly it was. Finish your sentence, please.
Clearly, he was added to the Signal group. Your question is:
you don't know that the president's national security advisor invited him to join the Signal thread? Everybody in America knows that. Does the CIA director not know that?
I've seen conflicting reports about who added the reporter to the Signal messaging
group. You think that it's perfectly appropriate that there was a reporter added, especially one that the Secretary of Defense says is deceitful, highly discredited, a so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes over and over again? Is your testimony that it was appropriate that he was added to this Signal thread?
No, of course not. And
why did you not call?
Hold on, Senator. You're mischaracterizing my testimony.
Good. You answered the question. Let me ask you. When he was added to the thread, you're the CIA director. Why didn't you call out that he was present on the Signal thread?
I don't know if you use Signal messaging app.
I do. Not for classified information, not for targeting,
well, neither
not
do I,
for
Senator.
anything remote.
Neither do I, Senator.
Well, that's what your testimony is today.
It absolutely is not, Senator. Were you not listening at the beginning?
No.
When I said that I was using it as permitted, it is permissible to use.
I agree that's your testimony.
Yeah.
I agree that's your testimony. You asked me if I use it, and I said not for targeting, not for classified information.
And I said I don't either.
I also know Jeff Goldberg. I don't use it to communicate with him. But you thought it was appropriate. By the way, I think he's one of the more outstanding journalists in America. But I'm shocked to find him on a thread that he's reading in the parking lot of a grocery store in Washington, D.C. And your testimony as the director of the CIA is that it's totally appropriate. Is it appropriate?
No,
that the
Director, that is not what I...
Okay,
when did I say it was? When did I use the word appropriate?
Well, go ahead, please.
Well, I didn't.
That everybody in America.
So clearly,
there's nothing to
Senator,
see here is what your testimony is.
No, I never said that.
This is just a normal day at the CIA where we chat about this kind of stuff over Signal. In fact, it's so normal that the last administration left it here for us. That's your testimony today.
That's your testimony.
No, that's
Senator.
not my testimony. That's what you said.
I didn't say any of those things that you just related, Senator.
I heard you say it. We'll let the American people decide. Let me ask you one final point. I'm out of time.
It. Well, are you going to give me a chance?
Is it appropriate? Did you know that the president's Middle East advisor was in Moscow on this thread while you were, as director of the CIA, participating in this thread? Were you aware of that? Are you aware of that today?
I'm not aware of that today.
This sloppiness, this incompetence, this disrespect for our intelligence agencies and the personnel who work for them is entirely unacceptable. It's an embarrassment.
All right, so that was just moments ago. I don't know the Democratic. That was the Democratic senator, as you could tell, questioning the CIA director. Again, it all boils down, in my mind, to whether or not there was classified information shared. If there was not, then this is a non-story. Jeffrey Goldberg is the editor of The Atlantic, the journalist that was referenced there. He was just on a podcast, the Bulwark podcast. I'm not familiar with it, but I think this was recorded right after we heard from Tulsi Gabbard and the CIA director that there was no classified intelligence in that text chain, that text thread. Let's listen to Jeffrey Goldberg for a second.
It's like, all right, we're, whatever, moving on. And then over the next couple of days, it gets very, very strange. First, with a high degree of, verisimilitude, there's a discussion about attacking Yemen and whether they should attack Yemen this weekend. This is already late in the week. And I'm like, well, some AI is very clever at mimicking the policy positions or the ideological proclivities of J.D. Vance. That's interesting.
Right.
And then
Saturday,
Saturdays,
J.D. was the one that was against in the text chain.
J.D. was the one who articulated. And by the way, I find this fascinating, and this is the stuff that interests me the most. I find it fascinating that J.D. Vance is in the chat, not only saying that he disagrees with the president, but that he doesn't think the president understands the ramifications of the policy.
I thought
that's
that was
interesting. And
Trump doesn't understand it. He says that in a chain with 18 people, and that.
Well, I mean, he says it in a chain, and this is where it's kind of bold, right? I mean, he says it in a chain that includes half the cabinet.
Right.
I'm exaggerating, but only slightly. Maybe 30% of the cabinet is, including, by the way, the senior most cabinet departments, the Secretaries of State, Defense, Treasury, are in there. And he's like, I don't think the president really gets what's going on here. And he's making strong arguments that this is just, we're just doing Europe another favor and screw the Europeans. And it's interesting, a conversation that's ostensibly about whether we start dropping serious bombs on the Houthis becomes more animated on the question of how bad the Europeans are. Really bad or super bad.
All right, so that's Jeffrey Goldberg. Just about in the last hour in this new podcast that was posted, he did not get into the classified information, but that was part of the text that were leaked. He mentioned Vice President Vance questioning whether President Trump is familiar with the situation and what needs to be done. We'll, of course, monitor the situation. I mean, this is such a weird story. A weird story. Again, it's only a story, I should say. Let me reiterate. If there was classified information released or shared via that Signal app. If there was none, then it's not a story. Now, I think it behooves Jeffrey Goldberg, if we just got the clear from the CIA director and Tulsi Gabbard that there was no classified information shared on that, I think that gives him the green light to go ahead and release all of the text messages. We shall see. We'll monitor. I have a feeling that Eric Erickson is going to talk about this coming up in just a little bit. But obviously a really big moving story that we will continue to monitor here on 95.5 WSB. Hey, congrats to Belinda in Atlanta. Is it our Belinda? I don't think she's eligible. She won tickets courtesy of the Mark Arum Show at 95.5 WSB. This is a story I didn't get to yesterday. It involves the DNA company 23andMe. What can you tell us, Deborah?
Is it the end for 23andMe? The company has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. After data hacks and a class action lawsuit and some questioning leadership, the company is now in limbo. But what's going to happen to your data if a new company buys it? Users are encouraged to go ahead and delete their profiles and information. Now, 23andMe launched back in 2006, and they were pretty successful until they were hit with a massive cyber hack a couple years ago.
Ugh.
And that had users' information like names and birth dates and more being sold on the dark web.
And their DNA. And again, I've said many times, I'm never willingly going to take a DNA test. I don't want to know. I don't want to find out I've got 4 half brothers and sisters living across the globe. I don't need that information. Ignorance is bliss. But now I've probably had the CIA sample my DNA at some point in the process to get me vetted. They probably took my coffee cup in here and said, "Hey, Let's swab this guy's cheek and get his DNA. But bad news there for 23andMe. All right, is it good news or bad news on the interstates? Live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, and Alex Williams.
We do have some better news thanks to WSB's own Smiley Mark McKay. He says that big jam on the Beaufort Spring Connector heading northbound and leaving Midtown toward Buckhead has greatly improved because that construction is cleared out of the left lane as you approach Sidney Marcus Boulevard. Elsewhere, we are seeing some brake lights on 285 southbound, the outer loop on the west side. You jam in just before Hollowell Parkway. Those right lanes are slow, trying to ramp on to I-20 westbound. And if you're traveling 285 westbound, the outer loop on the north side of town, coming out of Sandy Springs and Cobb, it's getting slow from New Northside Powers Ferry over to I-75. We'll see if anything's stacking up that ride. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Eric Erickson.
I try even when I don't agree.
The opinions expressed are his.
To at least exercise some basic empathy.
And that's what makes you listen.
Coming in like a wrecking ball, taking it all out. It's fantastic.
Eric Erickson.
Today, starting at noon.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Why does it matter that D. Geller & Son is Atlanta's first diamond wholesaler? Because we get first dibs. When diamonds come to Atlanta, they come to D. Geller & Son first. A bunch of diamonds that look the same on paper, but there's about 1 in every 10 that you can see from across the room. So we keep the good one, we pack the rest back up, and they go somewhere else. Usually a big box store that's not quite as picky. That means the same color, same clarity, and same price gets you more brilliance, more sparkle, more bang for your diamond buck at D. Geller & Son. In Atlanta, Kennesaw, and Sandy Springs, online at dgeller.com.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer with experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
You wouldn't know it, but most financial advisors are put in a box. I'm Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I want to provide you a little insight about financial advisors. Most financial advisors have to sell what their company requires them to sell, and many advisors have to only adhere to what's called a suitability standard. A suitability standard is a limited standard of care, not requiring what's sold to be best, just suitable. Advisors with this loose standard often have limited investment and product selection. Trajan Wealth is held to a fiduciary standard, which is the highest standard of care in the advisory business. And that's just one of the many reasons we have billions of dollars under our care and attract clients from other advisors. Raise your standards today and call Trajan Wealth. 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000. Or visit us at TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. At home or at work, we'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
New treatments for joint pain are here. By now, you've heard about regenerative medicine. If you're wondering if you're a good candidate, answer these questions. First, does chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints keep you from doing the things you enjoy? Golfing, jogging, time with the family. Does it hurt doing the things you need to do, like getting out of bed, sleeping, working, and walking? And finally, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? If you answered yes to any of those, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Learn about exciting advancements in regenerative treatments that can give you long-lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Get your free consultation today. Call QC Kinetics. That's QC Kinetics. Here's the phone number.
Call now. 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. QC Kinetics. 770-285-8026.
If you've been thinking about selling your home this year, now is the time. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry. When you receive a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, there's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. One of our clients, BR, said, Mark Spain Real Estate sold my home within 30 days. I definitely recommend them to my friends and family. Trust the top real estate team in the U.S. and find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Estella's Pharma.
It is normalcy all over Alabama that prevents the Negro from becoming a registered
60
voter.
years ago today, as heard on WSB Radio, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. led 25,000 marchers to Montgomery, Alabama State Capitol, to demand voting rights for Black Americans. 60 years ago today on WSB Radio. Monitoring the big story, obviously the text chat on Signal. Earlier in the show, I had Senator Jon Ossoff on, asked him about that. That was before the information we got from John Ratcliffe and Tulsi Gabbard. Let's listen to Senator Ossoff's answer earlier this morning.
It is obviously amateurish and reckless and dangerous for senior government officials discussing imminent military action to do it using insecure techniques and to accidentally add a national political reporter. It's inexcusable.
Senator Jon Ossoff earlier on the show. Again, I talked to him before we got the information from the Senate Committee on Intelligence. John Ratcliffe, the CIA director, Tulsi Gabbard, head of NSA, saying there was no classified information shared in that Signal chat group. We'll see if that's true or not, and whether or not Jeffrey Goldberg, the journalist who is inadvertently added to the chat, will release all of the details, which, if they're not classified, might as well release them now, Jeffrey.
Longoria's fact of the day.
All right, today is Lobster Newburg Day, and it was first invented at Delmonico's, and Delmonico's is also credited for inventing or popularizing dishes like Eggs Benedict, Baked Alaska, and the wedge salad.
So it's National Lobster
Newburg
Day. That's like a cream. It's fine.
Yeah.
I love lobster, obviously, but I'd prefer it in a, just a steamed lobster, or baked stuffed, or lobster roll. But the breaking news there, Longoria shows up at the end of the show, Deborah Green.
Yeah.
Just to do star of the show.
Just to steal it from Vinny.
Yeah, just to do fact of the do it. Deborah, you're the executive producer. Does Longoria, he drove all the way to the station just to do fact of the day. Does he get a star of the show?
I think that he has to. I mean, he put the commitment in just because he knows how much people love Fact of the Day.
Yeah. All right. Good job. All right. Let's find out. Deborah says yes, but ultimately it's on my
And now, are you guys ready?
broad
for the Mark Aram
shoulders.
Star
Would you say
Show?
broad shoulders? No, probably not. Yeah, I'll give one to Longoria. Good job coming in. Worked 90 seconds and get star of the show.
There you
Yeah,
go.
You're like Dave Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will give Vinny a bag of donuts. Did a great job for 2 hours and 54 minutes running the board for Longoria. You get a star of the show. Blue got some great audio for us again today. He gets a star of the show. Deborah, always amazing, star of the show as well. We had Senator John Ossoff at the top of the show. He gets a star of the show. Always good to talk to our senator here in the state of Georgia. Other guests that will don the star of the show cap today. White House correspondent Karen Travers joined us talking about the story that has taken over the news cycle, this text chat chain on Signal. A lot of moving parts on that story. Again, Eric Erickson, I know, is going to be talking about it as soon as we hand the baton to him. I'll be listening to Eric on my ride home. John Decker joined us from the White House as well, correspondent there, talking about the relationship between U.S. and Greenland. Actor Steve Coogan, Damian Cockburn from Tropic Thunder joined us. He's got a new Penguin movie out. I'll post the trailer, that Penguin movie. A real penguin. That is not a cartoon, Longoria. This is a real penguin. He's in there. I think that's it. I think everyone got a star of the show that deserved one. All right. Obviously, big news day. Keep it locked right here to WSB Radio. I will be active on social media throughout the day at Mark Aram, M-A-R.